This is the Big O Show. 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 This is the Big O Show.
Welton Rayom has more than 62 years of litigation experience handling insurance disputes. They're committed to resolving even the toughest insurance claims quickly. Call them for a free consultation. 954-966-4646. At Welton Rayom, they don't get paid unless you win. Property damage claims to your home, business, or condo as a result of a hurricane. Welton Rayom can help. Water, mold, fire, smoke damage, Welton Rayom can help. Call 954-966-4646.
Why is it that you get locked out in the worst moments of your life?
Where are my car keys? Man, I can't find my house keys.
In those frustrating moments, you need a locksmith you can count on. A. Lenny Locksmiths in South Florida, from Miami to Port St. Lucie. In Central Florida, A. Lenny locks it down in Orlando and Tampa Bay. Lockouts or lock changes for home or business. Car key replacements and programming all model cars. 24-hour service. Call them at 855-869-5625. Go to the website at alennylocksmith.com.
Oh, great. You have a doorbell camera. Now you have a front row seat to your house getting robbed.
They're breaking into my house!
Ooh, there goes the TV. I'm sure it'll turn up at the pawn shop.
No, not the TV!
Just because you can see them, that doesn't mean you can stop them. With Slogans, you get 24-hour monitoring, a free home security system, and professional installation. Plus, free doorbell camera, one that'll actually work for you.
Get out of my house! Get out of the house!
Call 1-800-ALARM-ME.
Sports Grill on Bird Road, Miami Lakes, and their newest location in Doral is now hiring. If you're looking to join a great company and South Florida institution, give them a ring or drop an email. Sports Grill is hiring all kinds of positions, from hostess to servers, bartenders, or join the kitchen staff to craft some great food for their amazing customers. Please send your resume to m.cruz@sportsgrillmiami.com or call 305-219-5726. That's 305-219-5726. Sports Grill. Good food, good drink, good friends.
There's no need to drive around South Florida wasting valuable time looking for a new or certified pre-owned Acura. Go to the #1 volume sales dealership in the Southeast United States. Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. Purchase with pace and space in a dealership tailored to your needs. From home buying to providing that personal touch. Contact the 2020 Satisfaction Award winner Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. 888-776-5123. That's 888-776-5123. Or visit them at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
The Big O Radio Show is looking for partners to join our growing platform. If your business is ready to reach an audience that starts in Florida, crosses the nation while expanding internationally, this is the program that provides that vehicle. The Big O Radio Show is ready to broadcast live anywhere in the world to represent your event or product. To reach out by phone, 786-754-4664. That's 786-754-4664. Or email bigoradioshow@yahoo.com. Help us grow as we provide the content and personal connection corporate entities will never achieve.
Welcome to Red Light Therapy, a revolutionary technology perfected by NASA to aid in muscle strengthening and recovery. Red and infrared light has the capacity to penetrate deep into the cell's mitochondria, potentially leading to increased energy, faster recovery, and the optimal performance your body demands. Train, fight, recover.
Viewpoint statements or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website. When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
All righty. Good morning, boys and girls. Yes, sir. As we get ready for a rockin' Wednesday on the program, the one and only Sean Stanley running the show, mastering it all. Good morning, sir. Hope you are well. Ah, yes. It is hump day. We're getting closer. The boys are on the field. I'm talking about the Dolphins. The Marlins will get back on the field tomorrow on the Diamond. Last night we had the All-Star game. We'll talk about that. We also had Barcelona in town to hang out with Inter Miami and practice with them and take goal shots, I guess. 6-0 kind of shows you the difference between one league and another, obviously. But yeah, that was but it was a good experience for Barca fans and all that good stuff. So that was, there was a lot of good last night. It was a lot of fun, good experiences for people to be a part of all of that. So we got a bunch of things to talk about. Ian Rappaport will make his return today to the show as he was off for a couple of weeks for a little vacay time. So he'll join us in just a couple of minutes at 10:10. Matt Verderam will stop by at 11. We'll talk to Jordan Schultz at 12:30. That's the lineup we've got for you today. We got a bunch of things also to talk about today on the show, and a couple of other, I guess, pics and videos that we'll share with you also on the show. So we got a bunch of stuff to talk about today on the show. I'm kind of surprised, considering there really isn't like a lot of earth-shattering news. And we're all patiently waiting for football season to start in a way. And this only happens because Inter Miami isn't really anything special. The baseball team isn't anything special. They're not going to the playoffs either. Although I think Inter might end up going in the playoffs now that they've got Pozuelo, and they might just have enough to get into the playoffs. Maybe not make a lot of noise, but at least get into the playoffs. I mean, who knows? Maybe Pozuelo becomes just an absolute monster here. We'll see. But there's not a lot to really live up to right now, and the Heat is dormant right now because they're just waiting on the Durant move. And that's the one domino that will affect everything else. And we'll get into that also because we do have some developments there that we've got to talk about with Durant. So that's kind of the thing that for us as South Florida sports fans all over the world, it's kind of a dead time for us because there's not really a lot going on. I think the only positives going on right now is Cristobal picking up a 4 or 5 star every other day or something. That's about it. That's the only thing I can find right now. And it's really about next week and camp getting underway so we can start talking Dolphins and I'm excited. Sean and I are gonna head down to camp now and give you guys a little more coverage, so you'll get more access here on our YouTube page and be able to put all of that together here on the site. So looking forward to that. We got a loaded lists of guests as always, ready to go and talk about all kinds of things here on the show. I see Jamie Zorria already on the roll call, number 1 from San Jose. Man, you got to wake up early. God, Jamie, you are a stud, brother. Thank you, sir. Steve Chapman in there also, and Scott Primus wishing us all a awesome Wednesday. Omar Lopez, Kyle Cockrell, Too Extreme, John Rouse is in the house. Gus 1388. Rosendo is in. He says life is short, time is fast, no replay, no rewind. So enjoy every moment as it comes. Have a blessed Wednesday. Amen to that. A-effing men to that. What you don't do today, you just ruined it. So don't waste any time. Enjoy every moment of your life because it is a short one, man. It's a short one. Okay? I'm about to turn 56 years old October 1st. And you just don't know where the hell the 56 years went. And I know I don't have 56 years left. So I got a lot less than what I've lived already. So enjoy every moment that you possibly can. Hug that person that you know. Tell that person that you know that you love them, Go and chase whatever dream that you have. All right? Whether you accomplish or you fail, it doesn't matter. You will be satisfied that you tried. And that's ultimately what's you want to go see something, go see it. Don't keep waiting. I don't care what it is. Niagara Falls, a concert, your aunt, Mount Kilimanjaro. I don't give a shit what it is. Whatever floats your boat. Rosendo is right. Take advantage every single day of your life and enjoy it to the fullest, because we have no idea which day is our last day. None whatsoever. So you are correct, Rosendo, 100%. Nelson, good morning, sir. Isaiah's in. Tony is in. Chad, Heat Fins, 6193. Chad says, slowest part of the year, just waiting for August to get here where things are more in motion. Well, I mean, it wouldn't be so bad, Chad, if our baseball and soccer teams were a lot better. You know what I mean? That would kind of pick it up a little bit. Like if Moss was the baseball owner, you know that the baseball season would have mattered more. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, that's just kind of the way it is. But yeah, I'm with you. It's waiting for it's Heat and Dolphins and Canes, right? That's kind of, and then everybody else is trying to get into the mix. But that's kind of the way it is. You're right. You're right about that. You're right. Jason Myers is in. Good morning to you, sir. Daniel Marquez, Nelson Alfonso says, thank God you're going to Dolphins camp. A lot more useful than those Vegas trips. Well, that's because you didn't go to Vegas. Let's see. What else? Big O miss behind the paint segment. Miss behind the paint segment. Do you know what the hell he's saying there, Sean? Because I have no idea. Let's see.
Inside the paint, I think.
Oh, yes. Inside the paint. Yes. We are hoping to get it back. Yes. And get it back on track. Big O, good morning. Aquí celebrando Independencia de Colombia. Off today. Let's go. Nice. Daniel Marquez is in. Oh, there we go. I see you now. Now he put it. Brooklyn Rob, sharing some crypto profits with my crypto brother. Thank you for the advice. Keep preaching, brother. Thank you, sir. Crypto market's kicking some serious ass, right? Way ahead of the stock market, actually. I still have no explanation for this. And I don't know to believe. I don't know if we have. I don't know to believe this pump or not, because Bitcoin has now soared over 24,000 now. Well, it's at 23.9 now, but right at 24,000. So it is just climbing, dude. It is crazy what's gone on. Bitcoin is up 8.2%. Well, let me see. Let me refresh here. See where we're at. It was 8.2. Let me see. Might have gone down slightly here. Yes, it's at 7% now. It's crazy. Cardano's up 4%. ApeCoin's up almost 5%. Mina's up 4.5%. VeChain's up 5%. Ethereum's up 2%. Ethereum, man, is already over 1,600. And for those of us that took advantage of Ethereum at 900 and 1,000, and I'm just saying, you win. Just, I don't know. Listen, you know what it is? I think if we, in another couple of weeks, if this holds up, then I think then we've got proof that this is a real pump. But listen, Bitcoin was going to pump no matter what. At one point or another, it was going to explode. Okay. Bitcoin was coming off of, I kept telling you for weeks now, or months now, that Bitcoin is flying off of the exchanges. No matter what the dip is going on, people are buying it and buying it and buying it and stack and just stashing it. And I did a lot of that myself, like a lot of people that were smart about it. So eventually it was going to pop, and the crypto market has completely started to turn around. Now, again, this could be a fake pump. Give it a couple weeks, and then we'll find out if it sustains. Then you know it was a real pump. But eventually it was going to happen because a lot of people were buying and hodling at this point in time. And then there's the other news with Polygon doing deals with Disney. ApeCoin is just absolutely exploding with the metaverse. So the metaverse is also one part of the crypto market that obviously is going to be a major player no matter what. And then some of the reports actually, no matter some of the negative stuff, some of the retail stuff was good. And I think that that's kind of motivated people. I think a lot of people think that gas and supply chain are the main culprits to all of this. That once you fix the gas prices and the supply chain, that everything else will balance out because there's a lot of jobs. So people are working. The thing is that they need the supply chain to get fixed and gas prices to come down to then stop affecting everything else. So that's probably why there's a little bit of a surge now, because some people think that that's really the issue and they've got to just solve that part. We'll see. But if the feds raise the rates for another 3 quarters to another point, the market's going to have to react the other way. It's going to have to go negative. We'll see. All right, let's get into a little football. He's been vacationing, relaxing, chilling. Ian Rappaport is done chilling. He's ready to strap it up and get ready for the football season. He is next.
Football fans, it's time to take a look around the NFL. It's the RedRecover.com Look Around the NFL with Ian Rappaport. RedRecover.com helps pros and everyday warriors heal on the go with our medical-grade, highly specialized devices designed for each area of the body. Go to RedRecover.com to learn more about red light with videos, blog posts, and over 40 years of medical research to treat pain, inflammation, and overall well-being. Now, let's find out the latest in the NFL with one of the best reporters in the business, Ian Rappaport.
Yes, sir. And remember, you can get 10% off. Use my code Big O at redrecover.com. It's helped me grow back my hair. So my natural yarmulke is starting to disappear. So it could work for you. And then for all kinds of pains, all kinds of joints, shoulders, elbows, knees. You saw Hayden Hurst there in the commercial. He uses Red Recover. Maybe Ian Rappaport can start using Red Recover to recover from all of that, from his collision with J.K. Dobbins. Good morning, sir.
What's up, man? Don't need it for the hair. All good on the hair.
There you go.
The rest of the body, maybe. Yeah, the J.K. Dobbins thing was that was interesting.
I found it funny because I don't think he actually read your report. You never said he was out. You said he was on pace, barring any setbacks. That's when he may not be available in week 1.
Yeah, I mean,
he really, he kind of like overreacted a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, and everybody does, and nobody reads the articles, and no one reads anything but the headlines, and it's fine. Like, I'm so used to this, and I don't honestly, like, I don't even mind him getting upset because, part of the deal is if I'm going to be able to say and report what I believe is true, and I firmly believe this, there is a real chance that he misses week 1. Not guaranteed, but there is a chance. Then he's allowed to react. And I think that's all fine. And I'm not mad at him. He's probably mad at me, but I'm not mad at him. I do think he was a little upset that, players are rehabbing and they're grinding, and he's kind of in a little bit of a tunnel here, just trying to get back. And, probably felt to him like I was casting doubt on his recovery. Reality is, like, this was a really serious injury. It was an ACL. It was, a meniscus. It was a tear on the lateral side too. It was a really serious knee injury, and it happened in training camp. So wouldn't be the first knee that takes more than a year to get back. It doesn't mean he's never going to get back to what he was, but like, this is a real injury, and I don't believe the Ravens are going to rush him at all.
Right? No. Why would you want to rush him, especially when the guy that plays quarterback, in order for him to have success, he must have that running game going. That's how he's going to be at his best. Without that running game, he can't sit there in the pocket and beat you with his arm. So it's imperative that when you bring back J.K. Dobbins, make sure that he is 100% healthy so he can help that quarterback. Speaking of that quarterback, what's the deal with the contract? When's that going to happen?
It doesn't seem like there's much discussion at all. I mean, unless they're having it totally secret and nobody knows, which I guess anything is possible. It doesn't seem like he's really made moves to do a deal. And I think for everybody wants to weigh in on, what Lamar should do and when he should negotiate and what kind of deal he should get and all of that. And that's fine. We're all allowed our opinions, just like he's allowed his. But he's never been conventional. He has never been exactly what anybody wants or expects, or he's always been kind of his own dude. And he is allowed to be, so if he wants to take the risk, like let's say he wants to go franchise tag, and then be a free agent. He is allowed. It is a risk, but he is allowed. Now, if he stays healthy and continues to be the superstar quarterback that he's been, he's going to set the record by a lot. He's going to be in free agency, and he will be the most coveted free agent we've ever seen. The top quarterback able to make $60 million. So that might be what he wants.
So let me ask you, because, I like the kid personally and all of that. I have never been a believer of him as a quarterback, period. Okay. As a passer.
He was the MVP.
Yeah, I know. And he was the MVP mainly because
good that year.
Yeah. The legs are what makes the difference with him. But I just think he's the kind of guy that once you stop the run, he can beat you with his arm on a consistent basis. So for me, and this is the cynical one in me, being in this business for 32 years, I almost feel like the Ravens, this is the best scenario for them because they have completely sold out for this kid. Unlike most teams would not bend backwards to build an offense specifically for this young man, because it's really hard to even have a backup or anything like that because nobody can do what he does. Right. With those, nobody can run like he's like Barry Sanders at quarterback or something. It's the weirdest thing. Nobody's ever seen a freak like that. But I think the Ravens also see that when you get to the playoffs, if you're not dominating with the run, he's not going to be the difference maker with his arm. So I'm wondering if there's a part of me that says to the Ravens are saying, you know what? This is our best case scenario. Now he put all the eggs on his basket. And if he fails this year, unlike Flacco, we won't have to pay him. We can part ways and we can move on. Or again, they might be crazily committed to this type of football from here on out. I'm not exactly sure.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're wrong on all of that, because to me, the price only gets higher. Like, I don't think, like, let's say he slows down by 1%. I don't think he's going to, but let's say he does. He's still dynamic threat. If you watch the Colts game from last year, you know, he beat him with his arm. He's still, to me, more than good enough as a passer, even without the legs. The offense is so well designed. It's perfect for him. To me, the price only gets higher. And then if you're the Ravens, like, let's play this out a little bit. Let's say he goes 5th-year option, tag, and in 4 years, he's a free agent.
Right.
Their options are this. Let him walk out the door. Don't pay him $60 million. But then who do you have? You need a quarterback. Like, it's not – think of all the teams around the league that just don't have one.
No, we haven't had one down here since Marino, my brother. You don't have to go any farther than South Florida.
Right. So, and that's why, like, you know, the Tua storylines are so important because, like, if he's the guy, that's it. You're good. You're good for 10 years.
Finally.
If he's not, then you're not good. Right. So, you know, that to me is like, if you're the Ravens, your options, if you play this out in 3 years, are to pay him an unbelievably obscene amount of money or lose him. Neither of those are great options to me.
Right. No, I get if you let him go, then you've got to go get yourself a quarterback, all of that. I just think that this commitment in the end will not pay off because the stars have to all align for you to get through the playoffs and to the Super Bowl with that type of offense, because you're going to have to dominate the run game all the way through the Super Bowl. You know how special you've got to be in order to do that. And that's where I have a hard time believing that, yeah, during the regular season, you can get away with this offense. But when push comes to shove in the playoffs, you're still going to have to beat the elite passers. And I don't know if you can beat the elite passers in a passing league with a running offense. That's my problem.
I mean, we're going to find out. And that's what's going to be so interesting about this. Like, I hope he is healthy at the end of this year, because, like, they should be good. They should be really good. And the Steelers may be a little down.
That's the other thing. You're also praying for something that's not realistic either. Oh, he should be. I'm praying that he should be healthy. He's a running quarterback.
Yeah, but we don't really have any evidence.
You're going to get Haloti Nada eventually.
Yeah, I mean, we don't have any evidence that you're more susceptible to injuries if you're a running quarterback versus not. Like, Andrew Luck was not really a running quarterback, and he retired.
He had a terrible line. Steve Young was a running quarterback and decided, I better stay in the pocket a little bit
Russell
more.
Wilson's a running quarterback, and last year's injury was the first time he ever really missed significant games, and that was a finger injury.
Now, Russell has the Lamar Jackson gift, which is the Warwick Dunn gift, which is the Barry Sanders gift, which is you don't get clean shots on those guys.
Right. It's great.
There's a couple of those freaks that, you don't get clean shots on those guys. I get that. But eventually you're going to play roulette. And and RG3 was pretty damn fast. And somebody's going to catch you at one point or another. That's the thing. You're playing with fire is what I'm saying when you play that kind of game. And I just think it's just a fuse. It's only a matter of time before somebody gets Lamar where he didn't see it, and it's a serious injury. You know what I'm saying? That's something that hasn't happened yet to him.
I see what you're saying.
You know, so that's the thing with him. I've watched it every year in the playoffs where that offense dies out. What I need to see is, when is that offense actually going to be productive in the playoffs? That's my question with that offense. And that's why I question whether Baltimore, do you really want to commit to this long term? Is this really the offense in this league? It's like watching the Utah Jazz trying to make it with Rudy Gobert in this NBA. It just doesn't fly. It's just, you can't have.
I will stick with you on that NBA analogy because you lost me on that one, but I will trust you as the NBA expert on this call.
All right. So what's going to happen with Watson, doggy? And I'm pretty disgusted to hear that there might be 2 to 8. 8 games is not even enough. But again, that's not what they've said. So you tell me, what are you hearing?
I think first of all, everyone is just waiting. There's gonna be a lot of headlines. There's a lot of things. There's a lot of guesses. There's a lot of people expect this many games. Other people expect this many games. I'm not sure any of that actually matters. I understand why people say it, but I'm not sure any of it actually matters. Really what it is it's guesses. The only person who matters is Judge Sue Robinson. The expectation is that we'll have something before training camp, but it's not a guarantee. She could just not do it. She could just not do it. And Deshaun Watson shows up and takes part in training camp, and they just wait. I mean, they'd have to plan either way, but they could just wait. So, I would expect the suspension at some level. I think that's probably fair. How much? I have no idea. The NFL made its case. They have the cases of, I believe, 5 women they presented. They allege violations of the personal conduct policy. Deshaun's people have pushed back very hard on that. And they filed post-trial briefs last week, and we'll see. And that's, in one thing in today's media, it's like, it is okay to say we don't know how many games she is going to give him. We literally do not know, and I don't think anyone really has any idea.
Okay. All right. So let me ask you, Garoppolo. Do they hang on to Garoppolo? Is there a legitimate trade out there? Because it really isn't a lot of options. Seattle's one of them, but there isn't a lot of options for him. And then you're talking about Seattle and San Francisco having to make a trade, which again, that's kind of another hurdle with those.
I'm sure Seattle would be fine doing it, but I don't think San Francisco would.
That's what I mean. It's just kind of an uncomfortable situation. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's one of those. So what happens? Because again, you got to give Shanahan the benefit of the doubt. They must love this kid. They must see something in him. But boy, you are rolling the dice if you're going to go. Have a hell of a team. That Garoppolo might just get you there if he stays healthy. I don't know if the other kid can get you there. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, in order to trade Garoppolo, they have to know, or they have to firmly believe in their evaluations. And look, they traded 2 first-rounders for him. So they, this is the one to believe in. And if it doesn't work, they're all going to get the repercussion. I mean, it would be really, really, really bad if it doesn't work. We've seen crazier things. As far as Garoppolo, something I reported last night, the expectation is he'll be fully cleared by mid-August. And what fully cleared means is being able to make all the throws over and over and over again, basically being able to take part in a full practice, be a full go at practice. To do that, he will have to pass a physical. So my understanding is he will be able to pass a physical in mid-August. That means you're not going to be able to trade him until mid-August, which means a couple things. 1, what's he going to do during training camp? We'll see. 2, maybe someone has a quarterback injury. Like I agree that I don't see too many markets right now that would want Jimmy Garoppolo and his salary. If a contender has a quarterback injury, all of a sudden he's very interesting.
Right.
So
You're right.
We got some time on our hands. The contract's not guaranteed, so they can take time. It's really fascinating. I'm curious to see which way it goes, but it does seem like they're going to go the Trey Lance route and just put all their stuff in his basket.
They gotta love him. I don't know if you saw the trainer.
Yes, sir. We working. We about to get paid. No. He about to get paid. Yes, sir. We working.
Yeah, I mean, I saw.
You saw? So is Deebo getting paid? The trainer. Trainer corrected it really quick, by the way. No, he's about to get paid.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see if they're able to get a deal done. I know the 49ers want to. I know they're working on it. I know they're trying to get something done. It will be expensive, and I think there's a lot that goes into it. It's not simply just, how much money can we give this guy? It's also going to be about role and fit and what their team is like and how he's used and all those different things. Is it possible? I think it's possible. we're probably not going to find out for a couple of days now because, probably going to be right up against the start of training camp. But they got a shot. So we'll see if they're able to get something done for, to make him probably among the highest paid receivers in the NFL.
Yeah. No, because we had the Dolphin Nation. They want to sign everybody, every receiver that's available. So, it's just one of those things. All right, we'll leave it with this. Sean Payton, he says it's hard to predict where he's going, and then reports have him eyeing Dallas and New Orleans and Miami, and looks like he's trying to eye things really south this go around. What do you know about the whole Sean Payton story?
Well, he's going to be in the media for a year, and then we'll see. I think he's going to have some options. His last year in New Orleans was not great. I don't think he was engaged as he needed to be. So the year off will probably help. On the other hand, he could be like everyone who gets in the media and goes, you know what? I kind of like this life. Kind of like it. So I believe he'll be back in coaching eventually. Am I 100% sure it's going to be this year? No, might not be. Media life is great. It's cushy and it's not stressful like the coaching life. So I think he'll be back. And, it's really a matter of.
Really? Do they live your life? Because your life is.
My life is not that stress-free, but these guys live a much better life.
I was going to say. Your ass
Sean Payton doesn't want my life.
Yeah. You're one of the few in our media business that has an incredibly stressful life. By the way, the one catch to all of this that I'm not attracted to. I'm rooting for Mike McDaniel, so I don't really give a shit about this. But I know he's talking about he also wants personnel power. He didn't have that in New Orleans. I'd be very careful.
He did have that in New Orleans, I think. He got to do what he wanted in New Orleans. He ran the show in New Orleans, so it's going to need to be like that.
Okay, you sure he had final say, or he allowed his personnel people to make it? Because like Ireland gets a lot of praise for the last.
Ireland did an incredible job. Ireland did an amazing job making sure that Sean had the kind of players who would fit his system and that he wanted. Ireland did an incredible job.
Yeah, because you talk to people around and they like, no, Jeff Ireland did a lot in New Orleans the last couple of years, and so they like credit him for a lot of the selections. Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. So Sean did delegate at least. So maybe that's what he means. Maybe that's what he means, that he'll get a personnel guy to let him, because obviously he has to worry about coaching. All right. What are you working on NFL Network this week now that you're back from vacationing, you slacker?
Yeah, we got a little NFL Now coming up. We're there the whole week, and then we get to next time we speak. Hold on, it's Wednesday. Where am I going to be Wednesday?
Well, you coming to Miami, by the way?
Coming to Miami.
We're going to be out of camp.
I'll be at the Bucks Dolphins joint practice, but that's in Tampa, right?
Yeah.
So I'll be in Tampa, which is okay. I'll see the Dolphins. Hold on, let me see where I'm going to be at next Wednesday. Wednesday I'll be at the Eagles, so we'll be talking from the Eagles or whatever. We'll see.
All right, no problem. And of course, follow him on Twitter at Rap Sheet and catch his work there at the NFL Network. Follow him on Twitter. Constant breaking news, baby, and pissing off J.K. Dobbins. He is Ian Rappaport. Much love, my brother. We'll catch up next week.
Good hanging with you. Take care.
Always a pleasure. There you go. Yes, sir. Ian Rappaport, our Red Recover look around the NFL.
You've been listening to the RedRecover.com look around the NFL with Ian Rappaport from the NFL Network. RedRecover.com's wraps and pads are designed to deliver maximum benefits with each treatment anywhere you go. Go to RedRecover.com to learn more about red light with videos, blog posts, and over 40 years of medical research to treat pain, inflammation, and overall well-being. Use code BIG-O for 10% off. The RedRecover.com look around the NFL with Ian Rappaport is mastered by executive producer Sean Stanley.
All right. Yes, sir. All right. Let's see. What else do we have going on? We thank Ian, by the way, for joining us. And remember, RedRecover.com. Go to RedRecover.com. I promise you, if you're dealing with some aches, pains, neck, back issues, shoulder, knees, elbows, ankles. You got some sprains, some strains, your soreness from working out. Red Recover will help you recover from your workouts, old injuries, make you feel better, get the blood flowing in that area. You will feel a difference when you use Red Recover every single day. Go to redrecover.com, use the code Big O, and you will get 10% off. Great for the kids, man. All natural. No drugs here, no nothing. So it is absolutely all natural, no side effects whatsoever. So it's really good. Red light therapy and ultralight therapy. You gotta check it out. Let's see, what else do we have? Hunter Butler says this year off for Sean Payne reminds me of that movie with Paul Blart. Russell Wilson isn't a running QB. He's a QB that is mobile. Yeah, I would agree with that. He's not a running QB. Plus, he runs only, like you said, it's only by desperation. That's it. That's the last play. It's not a design run ever. What else do we have? Lisa's in. Steve Allen is in. Let's see, from one Ian to another, the use of Red Recovery, it's going to benefit you in the long run, I can tell. Yeah, definitely. Right. Once you use it every day, you'll feel the difference in your muscles and your bones and the pains and all that kind of stuff. It'll be a good thing. Jason Meyer says bought the dip. Well, then you are winning, sir. You are winning. And this is only a little, just a little spark. You know what I'm saying? The crypto market still hasn't even come close to the explosion that I'm expecting from it. But that won't be till down the line, another year or two, where we're really going to see, mass adoption and everything start to come in, and it's just going to absolutely take off. What's the hilarious part is when I see people tell me, oh, well, China wants to block crypto. Of course, dude. They don't want their people using crypto. They don't want to empower their that's the problem with crypto for governments. It empowers you and me. They don't want us to be empowered. They want us to be under their power. And that's the difference. This is what's going to give us the financial freedoms that we've never had. This is what's going to give us the opportunity to hold value for our money instead of allowing all these governments all over the world, including ours, to devalue our money. All of these things that people just don't understand because they don't follow it every day and they don't care. They just work and pay their bills and don't really look at the big picture. They don't realize the dollar loses 6 to 8% of its value every single year. So, it's just one of those things. But eventually, a lot of us learn the hard way. And that's kind of what's going to end up happening as crypto takes over. Those that didn't take advantage are going to fall behind. Those that took advantage early on are going to be ahead of the game. And they're going to give themselves and their family members a better opportunity at the way our financial institutions are going to change in the future. But they want to keep you stupid. That's kind of that's what they'll do in North Korea. That's what they'll do in China and in Cuba and in Russia, where they can manipulate their people. And then in other ways, in other countries, free countries like ourselves, they will try to use laws and FUD in order to misdirect you and not let you get into it. And then the whales will also manipulate the market to scare you, to sell and not hold on, which a lot of people did in this dip that panicked instead of holding strong and continue to buy at lower prices to lower your overall price. So when it does bounce back, because it's going to bounce back and it's going to bounce back to mega numbers that it's never been to, those that held strong are the ones that are going to end up really building a foundation of the future of our finances in this world. And it's going to be part of your everyday payments, your work schedule. It's going to be part of your business. It's going to be part of anything and everything that you do, because the blockchain is the new internet. It's just being developed in front of you and you don't know it. 95% of the world has no idea that the blockchain is the new internet. And it'll be the same thing as the internet. You don't believe in it. You don't know what the hell is going on. You think it's bull crap. And then before you know it, you can't live without the internet. Well, guess what? You won't be able to live without the blockchain. It's the same thing. It's happening all over again. That's all. And those of us that are smart enough to see it, well, then you'll get on the train now, early on in the early stations, and not wait till it's going 200 miles an hour and you're trying to jump on. Hard to jump on a train that's going 200 miles an hour. But right now, you know, it's trucking along. It's they're starting to put some coal in, and you know, it's starting to move. It's starting to just pull out of the station. You got plenty of time to run onto the train right now, because it's not you can run faster than the train is moving at the moment. But once that thing builds up speed, there's no getting on it. And it's done. And it's left the station, and you have run out of the deck to get to the train, and you're standing at the end of the deck, and the train is 100 yards away, picking up the momentum that you'll never be able to catch again. And that's what's going to end up happening. But, you know, and and some of you will remember this analogy in a couple of years. You know, when O was talking about that train analogy, there it is. It left the station I didn't get on. So, Big O, how many practices do you guys plan on attending this year? I'd like to swing by and say hello if possible. Tank, we'll be at a bunch of practices, as many as we can. I got to see the schedule, and then, you know, I got to I got to adjust the schedule to, you know, obviously, to then sit down with Sean and kind of figure out while we're there, and then when are we going to do the show and all that kind of stuff, because obviously those are going to be, you know, during training camp, those are going to be incredibly long ass days for us to get all that work done. You know what I'm saying? And especially also for Sean, because obviously we're recording stuff over there, and then we're recording in the studio. And so, yeah, that's a lot of work. But yeah, we've got to figure it all out. But we will. Matthew Cook says, Big O, love out here in New York. Thank you, sir. Always love when you guys put where you're chiming in from. Always appreciate that. Thank you, sir. Out in the Big Apple. Yesterday, the Big Apple was a big part of the All-Star game, huh? Pretty cool. AL beat the NL 3-2. Giancarlo Stanton won the MVP. Sandy Alcantara, by the way, had the most impressive outing in the All-Star game. He had 1 inning, 2 Ks, and in 13 pitches had 10 strikeouts. Or 10 Ks, I'm sorry. Nobody had a better ratio than Sandy out on the mound. And in fact, Clayton Kershaw declared he's the best pitcher on the planet. He said it. He goes, right now, everybody knows he's the best pitcher on the planet. So Sandy has the respect from us, Marlins fans, and he has the respect of his peers. And again, I had no problem with Kershaw starting yesterday. I thought it was the right move, actually, because he's in his hometown. He's a legendary pitcher. He's a Hall of Famer. He's a champion. And it's in his hometown. Yeah, man. Yeah, you gotta let him. You gotta let him. Start it. I have no problem with that. None whatsoever. But hey, great job by Sandy. Best outing out of it all. It was fun watching the Astros players get booed. And props to my man Nestor Cortez. Yes. He's a T-Bread, man. Hialeah High. Yeah, he did it for Hialeah High. I love it. Made it to the All-Star game. Mentioning Hialeah and everything. I like it. I like it. Way to go, Nestor. I know he's a stinking Yankee. What can I say? But I got to, I got any T-Bread is going to get love from this T-Bread. Okay? That's always going to be the case on this show. Oh, I love my fellow T-Breads. So Nestor, thank you, sir. Way to represent there at the All-Star game. I like it. I like it. I like it. Did you see the loser autograph seeker? Have you seen this, Sean? The loser autograph seeker? Okay, so bunch of kids trying to get autographs, right? And let me see, is this the one? No, this is not it. No, this is it here. Yes, here we go. Look at this. Look at this freaking loser, okay? Look at this loser. Wait a minute. Hold on. Let me see if I can get the volume. No volume. Okay, there we go. Anyway, so he's trying to get an autograph, right? Look at the kid here. Okay. So look how he's reaching over the kid's face, hitting it. So the kid also wants to reach in and look at him. Look at him hitting the kid. This is an old fart, bro. Like, this is one of the biggest losers I have ever seen in my life. And this is why athletes get turned off by autographs at times, because there's always an ulterior motive from, there's a father manipulating the kid to go get the autograph or something that it's really for the father. Or you've got these losers that have never grown up in their lives, or they're professionals and they're out there just to get the autograph so they can go sell it. And that's what's kind of ruined all of this. What a shame, man. I mean, just disgusting. And can you imagine being the father of this kid and you see that? I'd lose my lunch. I'd grab that guy by the back of the shirt and yank his ass back and say, don't ever touch my kid again. Effing loser. Like to see what the hell he does to me when I do that. I mean, seriously. You're going to be fighting with a child for an autograph. That's embarrassing. I know that guy. He's a Jets fan, says Martin. Martin, you're all the way in London. You know that guy? Emmanuel Clace closed out the game with 3 strikeouts and 10 pitches, which was pretty impressive as well. I was talking about the National League side. That's why I was talking about that. On the National League, you go look, his ratio is better than everybody else's. I didn't look at the American League side. He can't pitch on that side, doggy. So you know what I'm saying? He can only pitch on the National League side. If you look at all the National League pitchers, look at the ratio. The best one was Sandy. Let's see, what else do we have here? All right. Sandy's going to look great at pinstripes. Oh, God. Yeah. Well, Rosendo says, T-Bread suck from a fellow Trojan. That's all right. No problem. I get it. HML. Our supposedly our real rival is really Miami Springs. HML is the other rival. We have what is it called? The T Trophy, right? Or some crap like that. Lee Underwood, I'm in Charlotte near South Carolina border. There you go. What do we have here on the chat board? Reminds me of Jimmy Fallon from the film Fever Pitch. Oh man, I saw that and I just lost it. Like, are you kidding me? That guy is going to be, hassling that kid overall for an autograph. That's just pathetic. It really is. By the way, the Marlins are back in action tomorrow at Lone Depot Park. They will take on the Rangers. John Gray and Pablo Lopez will get the second half started. And Pablo 6-4 with a 2.86 ERA. John Gray has pitched well, 6-4 with a 3.7 ERA overall. What else did we get from the baseball game? Can I ask something out there? And I know I think I saw Lisa on the chat board, but she lives out in Rochester, but I know she's a Dodgers fan. So for those of you out on the left coast, can you explain to me what is it about Giants or Dodgers fans that they're like Neanderthals? They have a group of fans in their base that they're like animals. They beat the crap out of each other. They put each other in comas or kill each other or something like that. So at the home run derby, I'm not sure if you guys saw this, but there was a brawl amongst Dodger fans, okay? And that's why this wasn't a Giants fan included at the moment. But normally, okay, I just mention it because normally, okay, when we're talking about, rowdy or hooligan-like, better yet, hooligan-like baseball fans, it's the Dodgers and the Giants. Out of all the baseball fans, the Dodgers and the Giants seem to be involved in more disgusting behavior than anyone else. And of course, they didn't disappoint again at the home run derby.
You just get the chance to get to the finals, and I get the chance to leave for the
So, there you go. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. Let me pause there. Let me get a pause for the cause, as Crow used to say. I don't know what it is about Dodgers and Giants fans. There's tons of videos of those idiots constantly fighting. Anybody want to explain to me what's going on with Dodgers and Giants fans and why those fan bases seem to have so many freaking morons? I just would love to know. What kind of reasonable explanation is it? Because I don't see Rangers fans fighting all the time. We don't even have enough Marlins fans, so you can forget about that. Yankees fans aren't fighting like that. Red Sox fans aren't fighting like that. Cubs fans, well, they're too drunk. So they don't even, they can barely even stumble to the subway. Like, it's Dodgers and Giants. Those are the two fan bases that you're always seeing disgusting behavior out there in the left coast. I just would love an explanation. Somebody that lives out there, please explain to me. Because Mariners fans don't act like that. Tigers fans don't act like that. Royals fans. I'm not saying that there aren't fights in those stadiums. Of course there is. There's fights in every stadium. It happens. But Giants and Dodgers, there's nothing like it. It's like I go to a baseball game and a tough man fight breaks out. Because it's not even MMA or boxing, because there's all kinds of stuff being done and thrown and all that kind of stuff. Again, we have altercations all over the place, even here in Miami. But nothing like the Giants and the Dodgers. I just would love a reasonable explanation. Is it something in your water? Is it something that you people out on the left coast just love to do stupid things? Not exactly sure. I mean, you do have autonomous zones. You know, Portland is a complete disaster. But I was seeing a story in San Francisco. They don't go into the subways because it's full of homeless people. So I get that the left coast is already a disaster as it is. Maybe you guys are just a product of all the crap that goes on the left coast. Maybe that's what it is. It's probably what it is. Because, man, it is hard to explain how moronic the people are on the left coast. Wow. It's king size stupidity, what I see on the left coast. It's a California baseball thing. I don't know what it is, but it's something, brother. There are no subways? You've never heard of the BART, bro? I even know the name of the subway. It's called the BART, brother. Biana, do you ever been to San Francisco, my man? So do some of you actually just like pull shit out of your ass and you don't know anything? You know, Biana, I rode the subway to go see the Oakland A's from the city. It's called the BART. They have a subway. I should block you just because you're an idiot. Actually, I should. In fact, 192 people are on the chat board now. Should we block Bana for just being an idiot? Yes or no? Your future is depending on the chat board now. Okay? Your future. Because San Francisco doesn't have a subway system. Of course not. They don't have anything called the BART at all. So, tell me. There's a couple of yeses, 1,000%. What else? Let's go. Oh, a couple of no's are coming in. No, give it another chance. No. Oh, Biana, you're getting some sympathy. There are no subways in San Francisco. Laughing my ass off, he put on me. No, same type of dudes that hate on Tua. Give it a pass one time. Yes, block him. Give him one more chance. There's a lot of homeless people in Miami too. Yeah, but nothing like the West Coast, my brother. Nothing like the West Coast. Nothing like it. You need to go out to San Francisco and Portland and Seattle. You need to go see the problems over there. We don't even come close to what they have over there, my brother. It's not even close. They're allowing them to just go all over in middle of neighborhoods. And I mean, it is a really, really enormous problem. Watch the news. Give them a ticket on that subway. Nah, second chances. No, give her a chance. It's a her. Big O, did you see the comments ACC commissioner made today? Did not see it. No. I'm a world-class idiot, so I can't go against my people. Pretty embarrassing. You live there, and yet Big O knows more about the city than, he lives there? Does he really live there? No, he does. He can't live there. By the way, I lived in San Francisco for 6 months. I lived in Tiburon, which is the next island after Sausalito. I kind of know a little bit about San Francisco. I did live there. But whatever. You have survived because a lot of no's came in. More no's than yeses. So you survived by a hair. Don't be a smart ass. See, that's where you lose on this show. Don't be a smart ass, because if you're wrong, and if you're going to challenge on this show, make sure you know your shit. But don't laugh at somebody when you don't know what the hell you're talking about. Not only is there a subway system, you don't even know the name of the subway system, and I do. So, now I'm not going to suspend him for a week. We'll give him one break. That's the only break he gets. So he's on thin ice from here on out, is what we'll tell him. AG1, baby, Athletic Greens. Yes, sir. This is the way you want to start your day, with 75 high quality vitamins and minerals. By the way, whole food source superfoods, probiotics, and adaptogens. It's a great way to start your day. It's a special blend of ingredients. It's going to support your gut health, which Lord knows I need it. Your nervous system, your immune system, helps with your energy, recovery, focus, and aging. Lord knows I need that. And when I tell you that it tastes great, it does taste absolutely fantastic. And let me tell you something. It's less than $3 a day that you're going to be making one hell of an investment in your health. And when we talk about taste, I told you it contains less than 1 gram of sugar, no GMOs, no nasty chemicals, artificial anything, and of course, still tasting absolutely fantastic. It will help with better sleep and recovery, mental clarity, and alertness. Athletic Greens, by the way, has over 7,000 5-star reviews, and it's a climate neutral certified company, which I love that personally. And AG donated over 1.2 million meals to kids in 2020. You can help too. Right now, folks, it is time to reclaim your health like I'm doing, and arm your immune system with something convenient and daily nutrition. All you need is 1 scoop and 12 ounces of water every single day. That's it. You don't need a million different pills and supplements to look out for your health. Make it nice and easy now. Athletic Greens is going to give you free a 1-year supply of immune-supporting vitamin D, which is this right here. I take it every single day, and 5 travel packs with your first purchase. All you have to do is go to athleticgreens.com/Big O. Again, that is athleticgreens.com/Big O. Take ownership of your health and pick up the ultimate daily nutrition insurance. AG1. athleticgreens.com/Big O. All right, let's get ready for hour number 2. We step into the huddle, baby. Yes, Matt Verderam from Fansided is next.
The Big O Radio Show is looking for partners to join our growing platform. If your business is ready to reach an audience that starts in Florida, crosses the nation while expanding internationally, this is the program that provides that vehicle. The Big O Radio Show is ready to broadcast live anywhere in the world to represent your event or product. To reach out by phone, 786-754-4664. That's 786-754-4664. Or email bigoradioshow@yahoo.com. Help us grow as we provide the content and personal connection corporate entities will never achieve.
Welcome to Red Light Therapy, a revolutionary technology perfected by NASA to aid in muscle strengthening and recovery. Red and infrared light has the capacity to penetrate deep into the cell's mitochondria, potentially leading to increased energy, faster recovery, and the optimal performance your body demands. Train, fight, recover.
Let's huddle up with Fanside National NFL reporter Matt Verderam. The Huddle is brought to you by RedRecover.com. RedRecover.com's wraps and pads are designed to deliver maximum benefits with each treatment anywhere you go. Go to RedRecover.com to learn more about red light with videos, blog posts, and over 40 years of medical research to treat pain, inflammation, and overall well-being. Here's NFL reporter Matt Verderam.
Hey, there he is. He's ready to rock and roll. Yes, sir. We step into the huddle thanks to RedRecover.com. Matt, how you feeling, baby? You feeling good?
I'm feeling good. How are you?
Doing good, man. We've finally got the damn rookies reporting, waiting for the vets next week. So we finally get some real football going. Remember, we're in Miami, so for South Florida fans all over the world, it's super slow, bro. The Marlins suck. Inter Miami isn't that good. Are you a KC fan through and through? Like you follow everything KC or just the Chiefs?
Just the Chiefs. I'm from New York, so I basically inherited every team that my father roots for. So
what are they?
The Knicks, which is painful. The Oakland A's, which is even more painful, and the Devils, which used to be good, now is painful. So it's not great. It's not great.
So you just walk around in your Martin Brodeur jersey and just live in pain. Okay, I got you.
Right behind me on the wall. He should come back and play now. He'd still be better than any of their goaltenders. So I'd take it. I'd sign. What is he, 50? He's got to have some saves left in him.
Yeah, he was so good, bro.
Oh,
he was the wall, bro.
Loved him.
Can you not, dude? I mean, he's your Patrick Waugh, man. I mean, you're talking about one of the greats of all time, Martin Brodeur, man. Shit, man.
Yeah,
beastly.
He was awesome. I was at his final game. Well, with the Devils, he played like 9 games for St. Louis. But I was at his final game with the Devils. I was at his retirement, jersey retirement. In fact, the most I've ever paid for a ticket in my life was for his retirement ceremony. The more than any football game I've ever paid to go see, more than any baseball game I've ever paid to go see, not easily, and it was worth it. And since he left, they've been terrible. So it's rough.
Since Marino left,
right. It's funny when all-time greats leave, how that happens.
It's really it goes to show you what a great organization is, right? Yes. Because the Steelers can change coaches and quarterbacks and players, and it's the same organization for the last 4 or 5 decades. 5 decades, actually. It's pretty much, they had a little bit of a lull, with Noel at the back end of his career, that they had a little bit, but then after Cowher took over, but overall, it was just one of those that they've been on a roll. And look at the Heat here in town. The Heat are always good, no matter what. And that's because Arison and Riley are running the damn show. And that's really the only way you're ever overcoming the great players. It's nice to have that era, if you're not a great town and you have we had Shaq and Penny and these guys come through, and then we're still the Magic for the rest of our lives. You know what I'm saying? And that's that's the trick right there. That's what shows you whether the Devils are going to be a great franchise or not, or they just ran into an era of really good players and they had their role. You know what I'm saying?
Well, to that point, I always think, as great as players are, and obviously they win and lose games, you want to know how good a franchise is going to be? Look at their ownership.
Right.
Look at, because ownership determines a whole hell of a lot in sports. I mean, you look at Washington, right? Washington has been a mess for 20 years. What is the one constant? Who owns a team?
Dan
Who
Snyder.
owns a team? Right? I mean, look,
Your Knicks. Your Knicks. Your Knicks, dude.
Yeah, the Knicks is a prime example of that, right? James Dolan doesn't care about anything other than making money. But
wait a minute. Hold on a second. He makes great music too.
Yeah, sure he does. I wish he'd retire and go on tour and sell the team. You know what? You look at these teams and it's the Ford family in Detroit. They haven't won anything in it feels like a century at this point, right? Going on 60 years. It's all about, if you have good ownership you will always be able to at least have a good infrastructure. You'll always be able to have a smart front office. And if you have that, you might have a couple down years. I mean, that's just the way sports go.
Riley's had a couple of down years. In 25 years. It's like there's 2 or 3 seasons that they like, oh my God, they didn't make the playoffs. They only won 40 games. Oh my God, Riley's losing it. That kind of shit.
And and that's when you have a good organization, they will bounce back quickly from that. The Steelers have had bad years, but it's lasted for like a year, maybe 2, and then they're back to being a team that's going to make a deep run. And I think for the longest time, you look at franchises like that, and those franchises typically, the Giants have been down now for a while, but forever under the Maras, the Giants were a franchise that they were good all the time. Every couple of years, that team would contend for a Super Bowl. And if they weren't contending for a Super Bowl, they'd contend for a playoff spot. It's like, to this point, look at Jerry Jones in Dallas. Now, Jimmy Johnson comes in, and they win 3 Super Bowls in 4 years. I know he technically wasn't there for the last one, but he built it.
It's his. It's his. I'm with you.
Okay. And since he's left, that team went downhill, 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 and then has done nothing of any note for the last 25 years. Right? Like, Jerry Jones spends money. He wants to win. But
actually, they've underachieved under Jerry Jones here over the last few years. When you think about the talent that they have, it's his poor leadership that actually stops them every single time. Because I will never believe, I don't care what you tell me, your team, your head coach will never have respect in that locker room ever when Jerry's the guy holding the last press conference outside the locker room in every game and telling you what they're going to do, who's going to do what, who they're going to sign, who's going to, you're neutered completely, dude, as a head coach on that team. Sucks.
It's impossible to be the guy there. If you're a player on the Cowboys, if you don't like the answer you get from the coach, you feel like you can always go to the owner. And the owner is going to have ultimate say. Look, first of all, anytime the owner is also the general manager, that's a bad idea. That's a really bad idea. Like Jerry Jones certainly knows football. He played on a championship team in college at Arkansas. He's been around.
Right. Why? You didn't like what Michael Jordan does? Come on.
Right.
What's wrong with you?
If Jerry Jones thinks he can do it, he ought to look at Michael Jordan and go, he knows just a little something about basketball. Right. But
he can't do it.
It's like when we talked about we talked about hockey and Wayne Gretzky became a coach and the team just couldn't do it. Well, because they're not Wayne Gretzky. I always think it's interesting. Most guys, not all, but most who are great players, they have a very hard time coaching or GMing because they see the game the way they see it. Well, they're all-time great players. Well, these other guys, that's why Jerry West honestly amazes me. Like Jerry
Newsom
West
and Ozzie Newsom.
Ozzie Newsom's another great example, right? Like guys like that who are that great, who yet can see the game through like the back of the roster's eyes. That's incredible to me. Whereas, most of these guys, you just can't because what they did came so naturally to them. Not that they didn't work for it, but they're naturally gifted. They're great. And then they tell some guy who's batting 7th, hey man, listen, that inside fastball, you got to turn on that and rip it down the line. Like I can't. I can't do that. I'm not talented enough to do that. So it all factors in.
Yeah, it's nuts. So let me ask you, because they say that the suspension from the arbitrator, right? It is, or judge, right? Is it judge?
It's
right?
A disciplinary officer.
Right. Well, disciplinary officer. There you go. They talk about 2 to 8 games, right? Which again,
right.
This league has had lots of players who have slapped women. Well, the league has also continued to slap women with the way they disrespectfully handle these kind of things. But in the end, from what I understand, no matter what they make, the commissioner could then say at the end, yeah, that's not enough. I'm going to do this.
Right.
Will the NFL do the right thing in this case instead of doing the wrong thing, which clearly 2 to 8 games sends another terrible message out there to women and to violence against women?
I totally agree with you. I think what's going to happen is whatever Sue Robinson's judgment is obviously going to come down. And then I think the NFL is going to give it a day and see what the reaction is. And now they're not even going to have to give it 2 minutes if he gets suspended for 2 games.
Oh my God.
I mean, they will get blasted from sea to shining sea on that, and they should be. If he gets 8 games, I would think they'll still get blasted.
Yeah.
But, obviously less so than if it's 2. I still think, and we've talked about this for 2 months, I still think in the end he's getting suspended for a season. And that's not like an inside, it's just my opinion. I think the league is going to take so much crap if they don't suspend him for a full year that they're going to say, what are we doing? Like, and I've seen the reports. Charles Robinson does excellent work at Yahoo. He reported that Watson would be ready to go to federal court. Let him go to federal court. Like, if I'm the NFL, I'm like, what is federal court going to do? What is the Second Circuit of Appeals going to do? None of it matters. They can't change what the NFL's CBA is, which says that Goodell has ultimate power to suspend the player. If the NFL Player Association doesn't like that, I understand that, but then they should have bargained it differently. They bargained knowing that was the case. And look, I've seen people say, well, why didn't they bargain it differently? Because most people in the league, most players in the league are not worried that they're going to get suspended by Roger Goodell. So it doesn't become a sticking point. Most players in the league only care about what the revenue split is, retirement plans, stuff like that, time off. Like, it's the same reason that every time this year we get the franchise tag business, people talk about, well, why is that still in the CBA? Well, because 95% of players know they're never going to get tagged. They don't care. They're not going to sit there and fight for that. It doesn't matter to them. So,
listen, the other caveat to all of this, most players, their lifespan is only 3 to 4 years. That's why the NFL owners have them by the balls every year in every CBA, because the superstars kind of see the big picture, but they can't talk it down to the rest of the guys because the superstars are going to be here for 8, 10, 12, 14 years. The rest of these guys are only here for 3 or 4, and they're like, yo, man, I want my money now. It's not about this, that, or whatever. And that's the battle of the person on the player side, that it becomes completely, almost impossible for them to win and try to think about big picture things and guarantees and things like that, because the short-term guys, which is most of your league, brother, they just want to get their money right now. Whatever guarantees that they can get, they're happy with, and they move on.
I remember a couple of years ago being at the Super Bowl in Atlanta, the Rams-Pats Super Bowl, and I sat in a press conference with the NFLPA president, Morris Smith, and he talked about the fact that, look, we're going to stand strong, we're going to have solidarity, and we've had the players saving up the royalty checks essentially they've been getting from Madden, which were like $17,000 a year. And with all due respect to DeMaurice Smith, I remember thinking, even if you've been in the league the whole time that's been going on, that's like after tax, 50 to 55 grand for NFL players, the expenses these guys have.
Yeah.
I hope the strike doesn't last more than 2 months, because it's over. Right. And that's if the guy was in the league for all 4 years. What if the guy was in the league for 2 of those years? Look, the NFL is never going to go on strike because you can't go on strike. They tried to do that in the 80s. They did it once. They missed a whole bunch of games in 1982. And then in 87, they went on strike, and the owners brought in replacement players, and they've never gone on strike since. They had a million guys cross the picket line within like a week, and that was the end of it. And, so look, the NFL, the bottom line is, circling back to Watson on this, he has no real recourse here. If Goodell decides, no, I don't agree with Sue Robinson, you're getting a year, or you're getting 12 games, or it's indefinite, or whatever he decides, that's what he decides. Like, the NFLPA can fight it all it wants. It can go to federal court. It can file an injunction. It can do whatever. It's going to lose. The NFL already established all this when it went through this Deflategate stuff with Tom Brady years ago.
Right.
And that was a hell of a lot less serious than this. And the court basically told Brady, sorry, bud, it's in the CBA that you signed, that your union signed. I do not see Watson, if he decides to, going to court and somehow winning this. I'd be shocked.
Where do you see Garoppolo ending up?
At this point, you'll look at the landscape. I don't know that any team needs him other than Seattle, which I don't know that Seattle even wants to win a ton of games this year, frankly. And then,
and I don't think San Francisco wants to help Seattle.
No, I don't either, because then those two games or wins might be a split or something like that. Why would you do that? The other side of it is Cleveland, which we've talked about. I just don't see it for Cleveland. Like, does it really make them that much better?
They have the caps. They don't have the cap space for that, right?
Yeah, I mean, they could, but even if they did, even if they got the Niners need some of the money. Like, if you're the Browns, I get it. Like, he's better than Jacoby Brissett, but
Oh yeah,
yeah, I mean, obviously. But is he going to make you a playoff team in that conference? I don't think so. I mean, what is Garoppolo in that conference? 10th best
well,
quarterback?
but you'll be pretty good at least. You'll be competitive because they do have they have a good team, dude. They can run the ball, so at least he doesn't get hit a lot. He would be good for them, but I just wow, dude, you're going to make a move for that too on top of all of everything
It just feels like a bridge too far with them. I mean, maybe they would. Look, this is the Browns. Jimmy Haslam could wake up tomorrow and just say, "Hey, we're getting Jimmy Garoppolo." Okay, and then you're gonna. They also, by the way, already don't have a bunch of their picks. Now you're gonna trade more picks.
Yeah, that's right.
I mean, that's so.
True.
My guess is one of two things: either the Niners hold on to Jimmy G and wait for an injury in training camp, wait for an injury in preseason, even the early part of the regular season, or they cut him. They just release him because they have nobody to take him. It seems nuts, but it's just the Niners were kind of screwed over by the fact that he couldn't have passed a physical earlier this year because of the shoulder injury, and he was rehabbing from a shoulder injury the whole time. So they were kind of stuck. And I look at it now and say, look, if you're going to go with Trey Lance, which they clearly are going to, you have to go with Trey Lance. You can't have Garoppolo sitting over his shoulder the whole time. And the first time that kid has a bad series, everybody in San Francisco is screaming for Garoppolo. You can't do that. So I do not think they'll go into the regular season with him. I think if they can't move him during the summer, they'll trade him or they'll cut him.
You're 1,000% right on everything you said. The only thing that I find somewhat irresponsible for San Francisco is if you do trade him, you now are starting a young guy and he really doesn't have anybody to lean on. And you really need to have a veteran around a guy like this to help guide him. Not that Jimmy G is the perfect veteran, because obviously Jimmy G will be frustrated with his own situation, but you've got to find, you better have some kind of plan in place to get a veteran. That's why I'm saying maybe you hang on to Jimmy G. So when you do trade him, whatever team you're trading him to, maybe you get their backup quarterback to come in, and that might be a better option than what you can get out on the street. That's the only reason why I would hang on to him, because you might be able to get a backup in return to help your young guy, because that's one thing that I think is a disservice. I think all these kind of young quarterbacks should have a veteran guy hanging on next to him, guiding. Like even Marino had Don Strock, dude.
Yes.
You know, that's
forever. Yeah.
Right. And he was a coach, basically telling Marino what to do and things that he saw that Marino didn't. And Marino would tell you 1,000 times over how much, Stroker helped him out. To me, that's a priceless thing that you've got to have for a young quarterback. Yep. And that's the only reason I would hang on to him, because it would bring me that back in return. If I don't have it in place, which I don't think they have another quarterback like that in the roster right now, right? If I'm correct.
Yeah. Look, it's a good point. I mean, if you look at a lot of these guys, Herbert had Tyrod Taylor, his first year. Mahomes sat behind Alex Smith, but then had Chad Henne behind him for a long time, who's a guy
Peterson. McNabb had Doug Peterson.
Right. I mean, you go on and on and on, right? I think it's Tua had Jacoby and then Ryan Fitzpatrick, like a couple of veteran guys in the league. I do think that matters. I also think if you're the Niners,
by the way, they got Bridgewater this year for him.
Right. Who actually
exceptional.
Who's excellent. And also, I actually wonder, like, if the Dolphins ever got off to a slow start, would there be calls for Teddy Bridgewater?
Oh, you'll have some people calling for him, but I love Teddy Bridgewater. He's a Miami kid. He's not a starting quarterback. He's
a bridge guy. I would agree, but
Teddy is a bridge. Yes.
But I think if you're the Niners, if you trade Garoppolo, I do agree with you. Like, I'd go out and sign a guy or get a guy back in the trade who's a veteran. I wrote extensively last summer. I remember watching the preseason and watching Zach Wilson, and there was all this hype around him coming into the year. And I actually got some crap from Jets fans because I wrote in my column the week before the season started. I was like, this is going to be a disaster because they don't have one guy behind him who's ever thrown an NFL pass. They have a first-time offensive coordinator. They have a rookie defensive-minded head coach. They have no line and Corey Davis, and they have not one quarterback on this roster who's thrown an NFL pass. And I actually I'm like, week 2, they play Belichick. Do you know what that sideline is going to be like during that game?
Yeah.
And he threw 4 picks. And I actually felt bad for him because I truly felt like the Jets did him a massive disservice. That kid had no chance last year. And meanwhile, you looked around the league. Lance was paired with Garoppolo. You looked at Mac Jones, who had help around him to the hilt in New England. You look at Chicago, who, say what you want, had Andy Dalton. This is
now you look at Jacksonville. You fail with everything around you being a disaster. You look at the New York situation. The kid fails with everything around you. You look at Tua. You had 3 offensive coordinators arguing about a play every 40 seconds. None of them an experienced offensive coordinator. They didn't have an experienced offensive line coach. They didn't have an experienced QB coach. And then it's an inexperienced offensive line with no running back there that's established. How are you going to succeed with a young quarterback? And you are so right. If you create an atmosphere like New York, like Jacksonville, like Miami, it's impossible for a young quarterback to survive and thrive in those kind of situations. And pretty much you look at it across the board, when it's like that, the young man fails and fails miserably. And it's not his fault. And I don't blame Zach, I don't blame Trevor, and I don't blame Tua. I blame everybody around those 3 guys.
No doubt. And look, you know what, Big O, we're on the same page to the hilt on this one because I have forever said, these guys, people are like, oh, this guy's a bust, this guy's a bust. Yes, every once in a while, there's some guy who comes into the league who's a big pick, who is just absolutely not ready to play in the NFL. That happens. I mean, that whether because of injury, whether because of maturity, just overdrafted. Like, for example,
Jamarcus Russell.
Tim Tebow was just overdrafted. Like that, he should never have been a first-round pick. Look, God love him. He should have been a 5th-round pick. He was drafted in the 1st round because he's Tim Tebow and because Josh McDaniels thought this will be a name maker for me and I can go get Tim Tebow, right? Christian Hackenberg was just overdrafted. I'll never forget I was at that draft, sitting in the media room, and when he got drafted, every other pick, nobody said anything. There was like an eruption in that room. Oh my God, the Jets! How can you take
Blaine Gabbert? Gabbert
overdrafted. Blaine Gabbert, no business going that high. Like there are certain guys who it's not their fault; they're just overdrafted. Now, I think a lot of guys, though, so much of their career is just where do you go? What coach do you get? What scheme do you play in?
You mean Steve Young kicking ass in the LA Express, sucking major ass with the Tampa Bay Bucks, and then going to San Francisco and going to win a Super Bowl? Is that what you're saying? That he had the environment in LA, environment in San Francisco, but no environment with the sorry ass Bucks, right? Is that what you're saying?
He's the perfect example of that. Like the perfect example of that. And I always look back to that draft that is now so famous with Trubisky and Mahomes and Watson. If Mahomes goes to Chicago, do I think he's still a great player? Yeah, he probably is. Is he what he is? Probably not. Probably not.
Andy Reid makes you better, bro.
He's probably a guy who puts up a ton of stats, but they don't win, and it becomes this whole argument of like, well, is he really that good? Is it just
Michael Vick was an inaccurate quarterback, great athlete, all that stuff.
Yep.
Threw in the 50s.
Right.
Andy freaking Reid got him to 61%.
You always
Andy
wonder guys like that. Right. I mean, look, Mahomes certainly would have been, but he walked into the perfect situation. They had a stable team. They had Hall of Fame weapons, a Hall of Fame coach, and he walked into that. To his credit, he didn't screw it up. He took full advantage of it and was phenomenal. But like last year, Trevor Lawrence was terrible statistically. He couldn't have walked into a worse situation. If he walked into the Rams last year, he probably would have been great. But like that, so much in the NFL is just where do you go? I always wonder, like Johnny Manziel, look, he had all of his issues off the field, right? He's a guy who's a perfect example, authority and everything else. He may not have worked anywhere, but I got to tell you, he had talent. like, I would have been very interested. Like, what if he had gone to play in like Green Bay with Matt LaFleur or something, right? I mean, now look, maybe immaturity just gets the best.
Right. It's up. Right. You have to do your part too,
Right,
and that's the thing.
100%.
Was
But
he
you
going to do
wonder if
his
he went
part?
to a real organization, would he have maybe gone, you know what, I got to change. I got to, maybe I got to do business the way these guys do. But when you go to Cleveland, who the hell is giving you direction there?
Right.
It's a free for all. Yeah,
Right.
there's a reason. We talked about good organizations earlier. There's There's also a reason that bad organizations stay bad because they don't have direction. They don't have leadership. They don't. They have all the sayings on the wall because it looks good, but they don't follow any of them. And you end up with 20 some odd years of just being an afterthought.
Yeah. And listen, right here in our backyard, we just talked about Riley. Go look at sometimes some of the players that they resurrect, and then those players go somewhere else because teams saw, oh, that guy's playing really good, and let's go sign him. And you look at, they don't end up playing nearly as well for the new team than they did for the Miami Heat. Why? Because the environment created that, made you a better player. They understood you better than everybody else. Then you go somewhere like Whiteside never played like he played for the Miami Heat, and he was a bum. But they motivated that bum as much as possible to get the max out of him. Nobody else could have done that. Only the Heat can do something like that. And that's because there are a few franchises, football, baseball, basketball, whatever, that they just know. I mean, you talk about your Kansas City Chiefs. Well, close by is the St. Louis Cardinals. Those mother effers, those mother effers know how to develop a damn baseball team year in and year out, and they can lose great players and they'll move in new players and they'll continue the role. You know what I mean? They looked at Pujols and said, yeah, dude, we love you, but we're not paying you that money. And the Angels went and paid it, and they never got that production for that kind of money. And the Cardinals were smart enough to say, yeah, we got to get off the gravy train now. We got to move on to the new guys. And
the Angels are the epitome of the opposite of that, which is we will have 2 or 3 stars and we will win 70 games because the rest of the team stinks because we have no idea how to develop anybody. You know what? To that point, though, I mean, kind of coming full circle on this, as a Devils fan as a kid, they always had like 3 or 4 guys who were Hall of Fame players were on that team forever. Niedermeyer, Stevens, Brodeur, Elias. The rest of that team, it was amazing with them. How many years? For about 20 years running. They would rotate guys in there. Some guy you've never heard of would come in and he'd plug in perfectly. He'd plug in perfectly as their second line winger. And the guy would be great for them for 5 years and they'd trade him and he'd be retired 2 years later. It was because they had a system and they knew exactly what they were looking for. And they'd fill that system in and then those guys would leave for bigger deals elsewhere. And it was like, yeah, but that guy's not built for that. He was built exactly for what he was pigeonholed for in Jersey. That's true across all sports. And I mean, certainly
Patriots, by the way.
Oh, the Patriots are, absolutely. I mean,
when they let go or trade somebody, guaranteed that player's on the downside wherever he goes. You know what I'm saying?
I gotta say, it's one of the things I wonder. And look, I've applauded the move, but with J.C. Jackson going to the Chargers, the Pats could have afforded to keep J.C. Jackson, and instead we're like, that's all right. And look, I think he's an excellent player, and I gave the Chargers full marks for acquiring him. But it does always make me a little leery when a team like New England that knows what it's doing is just like, we're good. Go ahead, take the money.
Well, they let the other kid go, the other defensive back a couple years back before that, the one from the Super Bowl.
Oh, Butler.
Yeah, Gilmore too. Yes. Who was the other guy?
Malcolm Butler.
Right. I mean,
5 years, $60 million, and was a disaster. And you just wonder. And look, they're not perfect. Asante Samuel left years ago was a very good player. But but it is true. Like, there is a part of me that wonders, like, why did Belichick, not to go full Brian Windhorst, but like, why is that? Why did Bill Belichick just go, you know what, JC, you're in the prime of your career, you're a great player, we're good. Like, you do wonder with them, like, they have a long track record of most of the time, they're right. Like, they know what they're doing. And then everybody killed them for drafting Cole Strange in the first round. It was like, how could you? And I was absolutely one of these people who was like, what? Who? Why are they drafting? The guy's probably going to end up being an all-pro. Like, they will probably turn that kid into somebody who you're like, well, the only time they're wrong is with the receivers.
Wide receiver.
They're wrong all the time. Everywhere else, it's smart to just bet on Belichick.
Yeah. Yeah, they're better off drafting a quarterback and converting him to wide receiver than actually drafting a wide receiver. That's what they're better off at doing.
Tyquan Thornton should be concerned. It's not good. I went back and looked. They have not drafted a receiver in the first 3 rounds of any note since Deion Branch in 2002.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
and he was only good with them because he goes and wins the Super Bowl MVP and goes to Seattle and sucks and was terrible. Then comes back and has a good year again with the Patriots. So it was just, again, it's just one of those things. And that happens with the Heat too at times. You'll see a really good player, like watch. If they move Duncan Robinson, I bet you Duncan Robinson will never play the kind of basketball he's played with the Miami Heat. I bet you.
Probably not.
And the next team's going to get, we need a shooter. Let's get Duncan Robinson. And he's not going to be it because they're going to know how to use him better than other teams. It's a weird thing, man. All right, what are you working on FanSided so folks can check you out, Matt?
A couple of big pieces that actually went up yesterday and today, right before the show started, over at FanSide and also on my Twitter feed. You can find it, no problem. So yesterday I released a piece I've been working on for months. In fact, I think it's the longest piece I've ever written. The long road, black quarterbacks and their struggle in the NFL. I interviewed Warren Moon for it. I interviewed Shaq Harris for it. I interviewed Doug Williams for it. Really proud of the way it came out. Really think people would enjoy reading it. There's a big section in there as well on Marlon Briscoe, who, if people aren't familiar, was the first black quarterback. Yes, 2-time Super Bowl champ.
That's right.
And was the
magician, Marlon Briscoe.
First black quarterback to start consistently in the NFL. In fact, he did in the AFL at the Broncos, and then was converted to a receiver because he wasn't given a chance after that. And he died during the writing of the piece. I reached out to him, obviously could not get hold of him. They died about a week later. And so there's a large section in there about him with Moon and Harris talking about their experiences with Marlon. So
and
check that out.
Shaq, if I remember, was the first black quarterback to take a team to the NFC conference finals.
He went to the NFC title game.
Right.
He was the first black quarterback to go to the Pro Bowl. He was a Pro Bowl MVP.
And by the way, what a nice man, right? Because I've talked to him a couple of times in the offseason when I run into him, and what a nice man, dude. Like, what
Shaq he's the best. Warren was incredibly generous with his time. We got to know him really, really well. Doug Williams was tremendous as well. All the guys couldn't have been nicer. So you check that out. It's on fanside.com. It's also on my Twitter feed. And then today, maybe interesting to Dolphins fans, I wrote a piece, talked exclusively with Dawson Knox, tight end for the Bills. And his road to where he's at is actually really, really interesting. Found out essentially a couple of years ago that part of the reason he was dropping the ball was he had really bad eyesight. And he's been working on that like crazy with a hand-eye specialist. And so he's seen the results. I also talked to him quite a bit about the Bills and Josh Allen and his pending free agency and where he thinks he's at and his love of Star Wars. He is a huge, huge Star Wars fan. Named his dog after Obi-Wan Kenobi. So, listen, I just tweeted it out so people can check that out. There you go. I figured you'd appreciate that. Right. So go to my Twitter feed. You can see it right there. Matt Verderame. Check it out. I think people will really enjoy both pieces.
All right. Good stuff there. And follow him on Twitter at Matt Verderame and catch him here weekly in the huddle, baby. The redrecover.com huddle. Matt, as always, thank you, my friend. Appreciate you immensely.
Hey, thanks a lot. Take care.
You got it. There you go. Matt Verderame. Don't forget redrecover.com for pains, for aches, for old injuries. Maybe you're recovering from your daily workout. Redrecover.com will help you recover and feel better and get the blood flowing in those areas of pain, whether it's your shoulder, your elbows, your back, your knees, your ankles, and you'll start to feel better. 15 minutes daily, no drugs, no nothing, all natural. Check it out. Go to redrecover.com and use our code BIG O, and you will get 10% off. I also have the hat from redrecover.com that helps you grow your hair back. It could help you grow your hair back. If you've recently started losing hair, you may want to go to redrecover.com and check it out and use our code Big O to get 10% off. redrecover.com.
This has been The Huddle with NFL reporter Matt Verderam. RedRecover.com helps pros and everyday warriors heal on the go with their medical-grade, highly specialized devices designed for each area of the body. Go to RedRecover.com to learn more about red light with videos, blog posts, and over 40 years of medical research to treat pain, inflammation, and overall well-being.
Alrighty. There we go. Hopefully you've got the edge today on a Wednesday. And remember, you can get the finest energy drink on the planet at myedgedrink.com. Use our code Big O. You can get 10% off your delivery. You can't get this in stores. You can only get it online at myedgedrink.com. Just 78 calories. Check it out, folks. All right. Ricky D says, remember the earthquake ride in Disney Studios MGM where the BART subway was in the ride? Nice memories. You know, I did not realize that the subway inside that was the BART. I forgot about that. Nice job by you remembering that it was a BART subway. Except our boy there that has no idea that they actually have subways in San Francisco. The Wayne D experience says Teddy from the crib, but he's nothing special, just way better than Jabroni Brisket. Yes, he is better than Jabroni Brisket. I do like him in the role that he's in right now. I think Teddy's fantastic. I think he's one of the best backup quarterbacks in the league. Chicago has said Justin Fields up for failure, just like Miami did with Tua last year. We will see. Maybe Jimmy G gets traded to the Titans. They can only tolerate Tannehill for so long. Well, no, remember they drafted the other kid now. So they are looking to go in the other direction now. It seems to me like they want to be a full-out running team. And so that's why they drafted the other kid. And so they've made their bed now. They've told everybody where they're going. Ryan is in his final year now. He's either going to be a backup somewhere else or he'll be a starter on a really bad team. And obviously he's a mediocre starter at the same time. New England got laughed at because of Cole Strange would have been there in the 5th round. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. The whole Cole Strange thing, we'll find out. Maybe New England's right, and maybe they're absolutely wrong. But Matt's right about one thing. If it was a wide receiver, I'd tell you, yeah, there's a good chance that he'll suck because they are terrible at drafting wide receivers. We'll see if Cole Strange has got it. It's kind of interesting. Last night, 19,113 enjoyed watching Barcelona trash Inter Miami 6-0. Looked like the crowd was having fun. I mean, listen, in the end, did anybody really expect Miami to beat Barcelona? No. Although I will say this. The goaltender, now I'm brain farting with the M. Master, what's his name?
Marsman.
Marsman was used yesterday. Oh, God. Because Calendar has taken his job. And so that was the funny, and I'm sorry, Nick, that I'm laughing at you, but like Marsman is lost his job, got injured. This young kid, Derek Calendar, comes in. He's been an ass kicker. He's been fun to watch. I mean, he is a good goalie. All right. He's the future. Marsman's an older veteran, and you're going to move on from his ass, right? So he doesn't play much now. He just got back from injury a couple of games ago, so he's been sitting behind, Calendar. And now you've got 2 games in a week because you got to play again on Saturday against New York City FC. So they use Marsman because you're not going to use Calendar, and so he has to face Barcelona. And they are just scoring goals left and right, and he's diving and missing stuff. And I felt bad for him. I legitimately felt bad for Nick Marsman yesterday. I did. Poor guy. Oh, the only game he plays, he gets absolutely sizzled by Barcelona 6-0, man. That's the one thing that stood out. But it was I commend Jorge Mas because to bring Barcelona there is amazing. It's a great experience for Barcelona fans. They wanted to go see, the day before they went to go see them practice, and I think they charged like $50 just for the practice. It wasn't sold out the practice, but a lot of people did go for the practice. And then obviously the ambiance last night for all the Barcelona fans to be there. I'm a Barcelona guy myself, and so this is a great way of selling the sport to people, and a great opportunity for Barca fans to go out there and enjoy it. We can say Barca, or the way it's spelled, you can call it Barca. Anyway, so Barca fans can go out there and enjoy it. But really, the big picture is Saturday, 7:00, New York City FC. You're 2 points out of the final playoff spot. You got an opportunity. Let's see if they can take advantage of it and have some fun. But that was cool to watch. It was a good event to a good exhibit to present that sport to people out there, and hopefully the people on the fence or the non-soccer people, you'll start to win them over a little bit more. Inter's got to create their own magic, man. They've got to start winning more often. They've got to start creating memorable moments for fans. I think all of those kind of things will really, really help sell the sport here locally so you can grow it. Eventually, Moss and Chris Henderson will figure this out, bro, and they'll be fine. I'm not worried about it. But that last night, I know it was 6-0. The score does not matter. The idea yesterday was about selling soccer and growing soccer in this town, local soccer, MLS. And that was a good moment for soccer last night. So I congratulate everybody involved there. What up, Sean?
Did you see the discrepancy on shots on goal or shots in general?
What was the discrepancy? How bad was it?
I believe it was 28-1. And the one was a corner kick by Miami. That was right. It. That's all they got.
Yeah. Now that I think about it, that's right. There wasn't a lot.
It was not good.
Yeah, I mean, but bro, it's Barcelona,
Oh, I get that, but Barcelona wasn't
and even Miami wasn't going to play all of their players for 90 minutes, which maybe they get a couple of.
I don't think they played anybody I don't think they played any of their starters. Gonzalo started, Marsman started, Neville started, Beckham came in with the sub. There was a bunch of them.
Right, that's what I'm saying. So if they're not gonna play their guys much, then it's and I don't even know if they weren't going to make it a game, but they would have got a couple extra shots, maybe. But that's about it. It was it. I mean, the level of talent, the disparity of talent. It's not even close.
They put the level 2 team out there, and it was even worse than if they would have had, I think, the regular guys out.
Yeah, and Barcelona didn't have all their starters either.
Oh, yeah.
And they didn't keep some of their guys in there also. So it is what it is, but it was a good moment for soccer. Good moment. 19,000 in that stadium. Good moment for soccer. I congratulate Moss and company. That's a beautiful thing, man. He did a good thing for everybody out there. Frankie says, I told you they were going to get beat down, Big O. Oh, Frankie. Wow, dude. Really? Man, you really nailed that one, bro. Like none of us, we all thought it was going to be a close. In fact, most of us thought Inter was going to win 6-0, Frankie. You're the only one that thought that Barcelona was very superior to Inter Miami. None of us thought that at all. You're right, Frankie. You knew it. None of us did. We all expected Inter to win. I don't think they'd care about playing Malik early. Look at Jordan Love, drafted higher than Malik and hasn't played. Teams just want to win now, especially when you have Derrick Henry in his prime. Well, yeah, we'll see. But I think eventually they're going to go to Malik. By the end of the year, they will be putting out Malik out there. And I wouldn't be surprised if they use him early on in certain plays to start to ease him in. The best MLS team would still lose 3 or 4-0. The league has made a lot of strides, but there's a lot to go. Exactly. I mean, it's the MLS, bro. I mean, you know, we're going to be comparing it to the Spanish Primera League or the English Premiership or the Bundesliga. Come on, man. You know, we're not there yet. We're not even close at that point. When we have the kind of payrolls that can pay for those kind of guys, then we're there. But, you know, the kind of payrolls they have now, they're nowhere near playing with Manchester United and Barcelona or any of those other type of teams. Inter Milan or whatever. You're not at that level, man. Let's see. I hope the USFL brings a Miami franchise. I doubt it, Willie. It could happen, but if you really look at it, Willie, and follow me on this. The Hooters, they failed. The Matadors, they failed. The Magic Jack, they failed. That was a women's soccer league that was here. Our baseball teams, the Miami Marlins, lasted early in the days, but as you know, as reality started to set in the 80s and the 90s, it died out. And so did Fort Lauderdale. And that's baseball. We're not good with minor leagues anymore. I mean, I'm sorry. We're not good with minor leagues, period. And, you know, in years past, Los Gatos, the Toros, the Strikers, the Fusion, they all tried. Strikers lasted a little longer than the Fusion, but still faded out and were gone. And those were all kind of niche leagues in those days. MLS is way bigger now than any of those leagues were, the NASL or anything else. So things have changed in that sense. But if you're a minor league type of team or league, you're not going to survive in South Florida. We just do not support minor league sports here. So I believe that a USFL or XFL team would be an absolute waste of money in South Florida, because that's what we've been. You know, you have to understand, in South Florida, we're a little different than most places. We are a destination place. So people literally come here to relax. They come here to fish. They come here to chill out at the beach, to go to the shops, to go down to the Keys. They go to the swamps. They go to down here to go on a cruise ship. You know, this is a place where people actually come. Hell, this is a place where they actually build a second home if they can afford it. So we're the kind of place that people want to come to do all kinds of other things that really has nothing to do with sports. Sports is just like a caveat. It's the extra. It's the icing on the cake. But the cake itself is South Florida. It's hanging out in Las Olas. It's hanging out in Worth Avenue. It's hanging out down in South Beach. It's going to Key Biscayne. You know what I mean? That's South Florida. And so because of that, there's so much to do. Professional teams struggle here. They must entertain. They must win. You don't have to win a championship, because the Dolphins prove that. They get great results and they don't win anything, but they're trying constantly. So they get the respect and they get the support. The Heat win, they get all the support. But the Panthers and the Marlins, you know, now the Panthers have turned things around and now they've got a good franchise. But that's just starting to build now. The Marlins have nothing and they're a pro franchise. Because you've got to do your part. Because I'd rather go to Las Olas than go see the Marlins. Because I'd rather go to Lincoln Road Mall and go walk around, go have dinner or lunch with the wife or my buddies or whatever, than go see the Marlins. Inter Miami, you got to do a lot better to sell your sport. Or if not, people are going to say, yeah, I'm going to go hang out in Las Olas. I don't need to see soccer. So imagine if the major league teams struggle to build their own fan bases here, how's a minor league team going to do it? They're not. They're not. There's no shot. They've all tried it, and they've all failed. Every single one of them has failed. Even baseball died here. And minor league baseball might be the easiest thing to sell. Yet you couldn't sell minor league baseball anymore to South Florida. You know, it just gets to a point that you have to look at what our community is all about. And our community is about stars. It's about high quality service. It's about being spoiled. That's what South Florida is about. And if that team doesn't spoil us, we're not going to give you the attention that you think you deserve. And so minor league, oh my God. It is crazy. Miami FC. Ricardo Silva is an exceptional owner. Exceptional owner. He does everything possible, and he's kept the Miami FC brand alive for several years now. Can't build a fan base. Friends and family go to those games. Maybe if you get into the U.S. Open Cup or you play Inter, you'll get a crowd. But outside of that, you're not going to get a crowd. We're not a minor league town. And even major league teams have to earn their keep in this town. Or if not, they struggle. So I would suggest to the XFL and the USFL, as much as I love football, it's a terrible investment to put a team in Miami, Fort Lauderdale. Terrible. Big O, in my opinion, I don't see why the MLS cannot be just as good as the Argentine league. It's about money, bro. It's about money. Sounds like Brooklyn either trades Durant to Miami or it will be an ugly year for the Nets. Exactly. I just saw now where I saw a report where Durant may want to stay in Brooklyn, but without Kyrie. And I was like, wow, okay, that's kind of what I talked about a couple weeks ago. That, this might be Kevin Durant trying to scheme this whole thing in a way to get rid of Kyrie Irving. And I saw that and I was like, okay, well, he got smart because he's already given away 4 years there, right? Kevin Durant has publicly supported his friend and teammate Kyrie Irving, then requested a trade from the Nets, reportedly because he dislikes the way Kyrie was being treated by the NBA franchise. Well, Dave McMenamin of ESPN says there's a school of thought, speaking to people around the league, that they think that Durant's trade request wasn't actually about him getting out of Brooklyn. It was about getting Kyrie out of Brooklyn. Okay? So there you go. And that, my friends, I would say to Durant, wow, you finally got a brain. But do you really want to stay with them? Because they've kind of proven that they don't know what to do in order how to build it. And then also, here's the part that Kevin Durant will not see coming and will not admit. Kevin, you need to shut up too. You need to just go to a team and play. Go to a good franchise and let them do all the work. Let them decide who comes in and who doesn't. You don't need to have any kind of input because Kyrie was your buddy. So you brought your buddy with you and your buddy buried you. I don't know what the hell to believe in all of this, to be quite honest. I just don't. Don't know what the hell to believe. But I can tell you this, Kevin Durant, that's another dude you can't trust. He is as flaky as hell. The only good thing is for Miami, if they do trade for Kevin, I think Riley will have at least an understanding with him. Just like every player that comes here will have the understanding that, yo, you don't run this franchise. We're going to build the team and we'll get it done. You know, and LeBron was an idiot for leaving because I think he would have done better by staying here. But that's fine, whatever, he left. But every other player that comes here, be quiet. Let the people at the top build the teams. More often than not, they're right and not wrong. And that's the one good thing that I think if Durant comes here, he can kind of rest a little bit on that end and say, all right, I could just focus on being the best basketball player, teammate, leader, all that stuff. I don't have to go campaigning or trying to tell the people in the front office who they should sign. They know what they're doing. Look, man, we're going to hear story after story after story with all of this. But there, you can tell there's no doubt that the Heat are focused on Durant because they have left everything else on the back burner. And that's the way it should be. We'll see what happens. I mean, it's like Kyrie is a pain in everyone's ass. Because it might be even affecting this too. One guy says, Ryan Tannehill, Jets starting quarterback next season. That would be hilarious. Jesse M says, you know, it would be cool to have a Caribbean soccer league with Haiti, DR, PR, Jamaica, Bermuda, Bahamas, a couple of South Florida teams, and if Cuba ever becomes free, a couple of teams for them as well. Yeah, that sounds all well and good, but that's not realistic ever. Finances and everything that go with it. A lot of those countries, yeah, you know what I mean? So, yeah, no, that would not, I don't think that would end up working. It would be fun. It would be really fun. You know what I mean? But you also have to kind of develop names. You got to develop stars. You got to develop people names that people get interested in. And that's the problem. Now, the good thing is for some of the countries that you mentioned, like Jamaica and Haiti, dude, no matter what you put out there, Jamaicans and Haitians will come out and support their own, bro. They are phenomenal. You know what I mean? So that they are fanatical and phenomenal. Okay. And they'll come out, but I don't know if it'll be great for everybody else because Cubans in general don't like soccer. That I can tell you. And if you're going to create a South Florida team, you know, it's got to be something sexy. And Puerto Ricans also soccer, not big. Basketball, yes. Two Extreme says Puerto Ricans playing soccer won't look good. Now for boxing, baseball, and basketball, that's good TV. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Puerto Ricans, yeah. It's Puerto Ricans and Cubans, they don't really care about soccer at all. It's not their thing, man. I'm one of the few freaks with a Cuban background that actually loves soccer. That's just not normal. Can't do anything about it. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? By the way, Craig Zinn's Acura Pembroke Pines celebrating its 14th anniversary sale going on right now. They have sold more Acura models in the Southeast U.S. in the last 14 years than any other Acura dealer out in the Southeast United States. And in fact, 12 straight years, they've been the number one volume sales dealership in the Southeast United States. You got to go check out the 2023 Integra. It is sharp. $369 a month is the lease feature. The 2022 TLX technology package, $479 a month. We've got certified pre-owned vehicles like the RDX, MDX, ILX, TLX, and we've got financing as low as 0.99%. So get on down to 15601 Pines Boulevard, just off of I-75 in Pines. Finest dealership in the business, baby. It is Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. All right, let's do it, baby. Let's get ready for hour number 3. And in this hour, Jordan Schultz will join us at the bottom of the hour right here on the Big O Radio Show.
If you're a Miami sports fan, then there's only one store to go to, and that's Caneswear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your inner Miami CF, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2511 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com or innermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Caneswear, the spot where Inner Miami and all Miami sports fans shop.
Sports Grill on Bird Road, Miami Lakes, and their newest location in Doral is now hiring. If you're looking to join a great company and South Florida institution, give them a ring or drop an email. Sports Grill is hiring all kinds of positions from hostess to servers, bartenders, or join the kitchen staff to craft some great food for their amazing customers. Please send your resume to m.cruz@sportsgrillmiami.com or call 305-219-5726. That's 305-219-5726. Sports Grill. Good food, good drink, good friends.
Red Recover now offers a simple-to-use, professional-grade light therapy device designed to help your dog heal and live a healthier life. Red Recover emits red and infrared light therapy based on the same science that NASA developed, all in a soft, flexible housing pad powered by a convenient, rechargeable lithium-ion battery. Give your dog the same therapy that many veterinarians use today, but at a fraction of the cost. Pads are available in 3 sizes and come with attachment straps, clips, and an easy-to-use manual. Red Recover can help your dog with arthritic conditions, muscle soreness, intervertebral disc disease, ACL rehabilitation, performance, aging, and general health and happiness. You simply place the pad over the desired area and allow our proprietary Tri-Light therapeutic wrap to penetrate deep into the tissue where a number of healing parameters will be stimulated. When starting treatment, apply for 10 to 15 minutes daily and lessen the application time as needed for best results. Say yes to science and give your dog the care it deserves with Red Recover.
The viewing statements or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website. When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
We are ready, baby, to start off hour number 3 of the program, and we always enjoy talking to the Fort Lauderdale Police Department, a proud sponsor of our program, and we love what they do for us in the community, keeping us safe and doing a terrific job overall. Officer April Lowe is kind enough to join us today on the show. Officer Lowe, how are you doing today? Good afternoon.
Hi, I'm great. How are you?
Very good, very good. I can see that I would lose an arm wrestling battle with you right now. By the way, as I can see, the CrossFit is definitely paying off, Officer Lowe.
Yes, I've been CrossFitting for about 12 years now, so I hope so. I hope it looks like I've been doing it.
Yeah, no, it definitely looks like you've been doing it. Let me ask you, being a lady on the force.
Mm-hmm.
And it's something that we don't think about as men, right? But women always have to kind of feel like they've got to prove themselves that they are the equal of the men in whatever genre that they're in, right? Because that's kind of the way, sadly, our society is, right? And I think a lot of us are getting to the point where we look at things equally, but unfortunately, it's just not like that. So talk to us about that battle for you overall, because it's a challenge for so many women in so many walks of life.
Yeah, I mean, I came into this job later in life. So I think for me, just being a little bit older, a little wiser, dealing with certain aspects of that younger, it hasn't been as big of an issue for me. I think also because I'm really fit and I'm confident. I feel like I was embraced more than I definitely expected to. To be honest, being in the academy was a lot harder because I felt like the instructors were a little bit more, old school. So being a female was really tough, and I felt like I just had to be quiet. Couldn't have girl moments. I couldn't be emotional.
Oop, froze up a little bit. There we go. It froze up a little bit.
And didn't feel like I could show when I've still worked hard to try and not do, because you just don't want to have girl moments, if that makes sense.
No, it makes sense. No, I definitely understand that. So let me ask you, what motivated you? What was that watershed moment that April O said, I want to be an officer? What was that moment?
Well, my degree.
Because you said you got into it a little later, right? So it's not like you're a fresh face out of college or high school or something like that, and you're popping in and you're learning about the world. You were already a little bit more experienced. So I find it interesting that you came in a little later. So walk us through that watershed moment.
I think just looking at everything I had done, I was in my early 40s at the time. I had a degree in social work. I'd worked in the social work field. I was a high school and college volleyball coach. I was a CrossFit competitor. And it just felt like I knew I wanted to do something more impactful with my life. I wanted to help people. I didn't really want to go back to the social work field. I wanted something a little bit more physical. And law enforcement to me was CrossFit meets social work, plus having a volleyball background, a team background, like team sport background. Like I knew that I enjoyed working with others and being a part of a team and a group effort towards, whatever that goal was, working with other people to accomplish that goal. So it was a no-brainer. It was just like the perfect match.
How long have you been at it right now?
I've been solo since February, so not very long.
Okay. So let me ask you, so far, what is the most sad, since you wanted to make a difference, right? What is that moment so far for you that this is what I wanted to do? What was that moment so far?
There's been a lot of them. Just the moments where just random acts of kindness, like you're helping people that have been in a car accident and they're older and they can't get their dog into the tow truck. So little things like that, like not these huge, big moments where you're helping catch the bad guy, but just moments where people are having their worst day ever and you get an opportunity just to show them a little bit of kindness, or just be there for them while they cry because they've just found out, something really bad. I think that to me has been really satisfying. Finding a child that's been missing, or a woman with dementia that's been missing. Those kinds of moments feel like really good, like make some of the tougher moments definitely worth it.
Officer Lowe, this might be a little bit of an unfair question to ask you, but maybe you've heard from other officers around you. Because one of the things that I think is really important for all of us to fight what's going on, and I'm talking about the mistreatment, the crime, whatever it is, that the actions that aren't right that happen in front of us. Mm-hmm. I think you all aren't going to catch everybody. Right. And I think we have to do our part as a society. And whether it's phone calls, whether it's texts, whatever, but we've got to do our best in society to help the police do their job, because it's got to be a team effort. We're never going to have enough cops on the street to stop all the crime that's going on, but we do have all kinds of eyes everywhere. So I'm wondering, because I kind of get the feeling, but again, you may not know because you haven't been on the force a long time, but I kind of get the feeling that it seems like people are more willing to help now, to give information, to talk about a crime that happened and those kind of things, because it sounds like in the news that people are coming forward more and helping officers, and people are actually helping in stopping a crime and helping officers and those kind of things. Again, you haven't been on the force for long, but are you seeing a change from communities overall? Because it kind of I almost get a feeling where people are building up to that crescendo where they're finally, I hope we get to that point in society where we say enough is enough, And we all have to be policemen. We all have to be police women. We all have to police what's going on. We all have to protect each other. So I'm wondering, are you seeing more from the community? Because I think that's what's really missing for you guys.
As far as, like you said, I haven't been on the job for very long. My impression of what it used to be versus what my experience and the reality of it, what it is now, I would agree with you. I think that people do feel more empowered and feel more of a sense of responsibility and obligation to step in, to report things, to come forward with information that they might have. Everyone's videoing everything now, so they catch a lot. And I feel like, yes, I still deal with people, of course, that are like, nah, I'm not talking to you. Okay. But a lot of people that will just come to me, or come to any of us and say like, hey, I saw this happen, or hey, I have information. And I think you're always gonna have both sides, but I do feel like we have a lot of people in our community that do want to help, and they want to see crime go down. They want to see the bad guys be caught, and they want to be a part of it. They want to, I feel like, help make a difference.
Yeah, I almost find that people are trying to create more things in their home to kind of stay away from going outside, and that's sad, man. That's just terrible that we have to be so nervous about going out on the streets because of everything going on out there, and I think part of it is it falls on us. We've got to do a better job of actually, helping the police and the authorities. And when we see something, we have to be the difference maker in all of this. So I was just wondering if you've seen a difference there. And I'm glad that more people are helping out, because I think we've got to do, our part there. When you talk about walk us through a normal schedule week for officers. Is it like a 4-day, 3-day off thing? And how many hours do you guys work a day nowadays? How is it now? What's changed, if anything's changed? And by the way, are they giving you uniforms so you can handle 100-degree heat here? Because, damn, God, stay in the car.
Yeah, you just but yeah, we work 4 days, 10 days on, or 10 hours at a time. And you have you might work overtime before, after, work details on our off days. But, our day starts with briefing. We kind of, talk about what's been going on, if there's anything we need to be aware of within our area. And then we pretty much start answering calls for service. And Fort Lauderdale is a really busy area. I work during the days. So, I personally am not as proactive as the officers on midnight are, because we just have so many calls for service. There's a lot more going on between noon and 10 p.m. than 10 p.m. and 4 a.m. So it's a variety. I mean, anything and everything, burglaries, robberies, car accidents, animal abuse calls, child abuse calls, battery, assault, it's just every day it's so different, which to me is kind of what I love about it. You just know no 2 days are alike, and you're dealing with people of every walks of life, and there's, just a lot of challenges, problem solving. You get to problem solve a lot. And I love that aspect of it, because it's constantly challenging you to learn more. You have to have an open mind, and it's just dealing with people, which is, I think, so much fun.
Yeah, well, it depends, I guess, sometimes. Officer April Lowe joining us here from the Fort Lauderdale Police Department. By the way, flpdjobs.com. They are hiring, certified or uncertified. Please check it out. Go to flpdjobs.com if you want to find out. If you're living in another town, another state, and you're watching us in New York or Chicago or California, and you're thinking of moving down south to South Florida here, the Fort Lauderdale Police Department, you may want to reach out, flpdjobs.com, so you can come work and service here, our community, and help take care here of South Florida. All right. So far, what's been the situation that's gotten you, I would say, most nervous?
It hasn't happened yet. I thought I would be nervous, but when you're surrounded by people that you respect and that are such hard workers and so knowledgeable, I don't feel invincible, but I definitely trust who I'm working with, and I'm surrounded by really good officers. So I don't handle calls on my own, so I don't really feel nervous. I think sometimes maybe what makes me feel nervous is just handling a call that's new to me and just thinking about the policy and what the Florida statutes say and just making sure I'm handling everything, accordingly. But as far as like in that moment, it's more just adrenaline that you feel.
So your job, and I'm glad you said that last word there, adrenaline, because your job is all adrenaline. Your job is all pressure. Your job is all knowing and all seeing, because you have to have the awareness that none of us ever have,
Mhm.
right? It's just at a different level. So for 10 hours, it's probably 10 intense hours. And then you're talking about 40 intense hours. And then you're talking about week after week. So I'm wondering, what is therapy? What is cathartic? What is relaxing? What do you do to get away, unwind, that isn't CrossFit? Just in case. Because I know that that's kind of therapy for you, because I know people that work out, they kind of use that and release the endorphins and all those other things, and kind of, you kind of release tension and all that other stuff. So I know you're a CrossFit goddess. Okay, so outside of CrossFit, what is the therapeutic thing that Officer Lowe likes to do after work?
Gosh, so many things. I like to just be at home with my dogs. I like to work with dogs. I love to garden. I like to get outside. I raise butterflies. I like to read. I like to hang out with my family. Like I have way too many things that I like to do that completely like stress me and just make me, so relaxed.
We have 5 dogs at home, so I know exactly what you're talking about. They are the most therapeutic thing that there is in the world, because that unconditional love makes you feel so good every single day. So I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, exactly what it is. I volunteer a lot in animal rescue. So if you're surrounded by animals, I mean, it's just the most heartwarming and uplifting time. And I feel like that every day when I'm at home. So I'm really fortunate. I have a great support system, a lot of good friends, great family.
That is great stuff. By the way, all 5 adopted, Officer Lowe.
Very good.
Just so you know. Yeah. Yeah. I'm a big advocate of adopting dogs or cats. There's a lot of them that need a loving home out there, and a lot of great animals in shelters. And there's nothing more grateful than when you take that animal from the shelter and they are going to be just, they're unconditional, man. There's nothing like that. It is just absolutely something special. Officer Lowe, what would you like to tell our listeners out there about society, life, how things are going? What would you like to see from everybody?
Um, I mean, it's so easy to just get bogged down in all the bad stuff, but there's so much good stuff that goes around too. And I'm fortunate that I work with a lot of really great people that want to make things better. We want to do better in the world and in our city. And for me personally, I have to focus on the good things. I'm aware of the bad things,
Yep.
but I put more of my emphasis and time into the good stuff and into figuring out what I can do, like what I actually have control and power over to do to make things better. And for me, that makes me feel more empowered. It helps me take more action. And as a result, I feel motivated and encouraged. So I don't, it keeps me ahead of that feeling of defeatedness. So I think
I
that's
agree.
this doing what you can, because we can all do something and it all makes a difference, right? It adds up.
Yeah, and I believe there's more of us than of them. So I believe there's more good than bad, and eventually we will overcome. Officer Lowe, thank you for taking some time. Appreciate you. Appreciate your service to our community, and wish you the best out there. And stay strong.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
You got it. There you go. Officer Lowe from the Fort Lauderdale Police Department, FLPDjobs.com. So if you're watching, you can work with Officer Lowe and the great staff there at the Fort Lauderdale Police Department, FLPDjobs.com. That's FLPDjobs.com. There you go. Check it out. Certified or uncertified. Call. Get that application in. All right. You want to get in on the Welt and Rheaume text line, 855-912-1056. That's 855-912-1056. If you want to get in on the Welt and Rheaume text line, you can also reach out to us on Twitter. That's at Big O Show. Follow us there as always. Don't forget, that is a 24-hour talk show as always. Yes, sir. What else do we have here that I wanted to talk about? Did you see about Barkley? So Barkley is now thinking about leaving TNT for Live. I don't know if you guys saw this, but it's kind of this one came out of left field. Like, I know Barkley pops into golf or college football and college basketball and, whatever, hockey, you name it. He pops into all the sports, right? So Barkley is planning to meet with the Live Golf folks to discuss a possible role for him with the new Saudi-backed league. Some have wondered how they impact his job with TNT's Inside the NBA. One person who knows Barkley well says the Hall of Famer may be considering a total career change. Barkley confirmed last week that he's going to sit down with Greg Norman to see what Liv may have to offer. Dan Patrick discussed it on his show and implied that he spoke with Barkley about the possibility of Charles going to Live. And he says he might have to leave TNT. That's why it's a huge deal. Charles knows that he may have to leave TNT to do this. What I was told this morning is Charles knows he may have to leave TNT, and that would be bad for everybody. Now, here's the thing. I get it, dude. They're all chasing the money. The Saudis are dropping the money like crazy, and they might as well. They have all that money for now. Eventually, it'll run out because if we all go green, we're not going to need gas. So, gas won't be in the kind of demand that it should be in 10, 20, and 30 years from now, correct? So I get it. You want to make as much money for your family and all of that. I understand all of that. And I don't even know if Barkley even has a family or whatever. I don't think he's married or anything, but maybe his, mom, dad, grandfather, grandma. I don't know. I don't know who's alive or who's not in his family. But obviously he could take care of himself or his gambling habit, one of the two. I'll probably go with the latter. Anyway, here's the thing. One, how many people really care about Live Golf? Two, do you want to hear Barkley talk about golf? Like, he barely follows basketball. That's the game he played. I don't want to hear him talk about football or baseball or hockey or golf. So what's he going to just go bust DeChambeau's balls or something and just say, funny stuff about the guys? Is that what he's going to try to do? And I get what Liv is trying to do, because it's not like their ratings are through the roof or anything like that, but they've got to build it up, and they have no stars. The entire sport has no stars. Not Liv, not the PGA. So you've got to try to make the stars in the booth. You've got to try to make the sexiness around the game, because they really don't have the athlete that can carry it. That dude's broken down, and at the end of his run, and his name is Tiger Woods, because that's the only one that, think about that. Tiger Woods carried the sport. Anybody else can do that? No. Not even close. Because Tiger's the kind of guy that made people who didn't like golf, oh, let me see what he's doing. The guy that's on the fence or woman that's on the fence, oh, I'm interested. And obviously the golf nut, all over it. No one moves the needle like that. So these are the things you've got to do. You've got to make the dog and pony show around the course, because the people on the course aren't really stars. I get it. Golf does a terrible job of trying to build each one of them up every time they win a tournament. No, Jason Day, he's the up and coming, and Jordan Spieth, and it's Rory McIlroy, and it's they shove one guy down your throat after another, after another, after another, and they're all wrong because none of them are even Phil. Forget Tiger. So if you're Liv, I get what you're doing, and if you're Charles, I get what you're doing also. Or is Charles using Liv to drive up more money from TNT? Or does Charles just want to do this now to just switch gears from basketball? Is he tired of all the late nights? Because there are no late nights in golf. He's just doing afternoon stuff, and then he's done. There are times when you're watching the TNT stuff, and he is bored at night in those games. Like he doesn't want to be there. You ever notice that on some of those? Like hell, he'll even say, "Why are we airing this game? Why are we watching this game?" That kind of stuff. So, what's the deal with Charles? Is this a leverage play? Is he tired of it? Does he want to change gears? Is it all money? He does love his gambling. Do you think we should get a tackle? What tackle? What are you talking about, bro? What tackle? For the Dolphins? Who's available? What do you want to get? These guys feel like they know offensive line more than you and I, so I'll go with what they say. Oh, Officer Lowe was a wonderful interview. Young girls can see themselves represented by her, opening doors, pushing back against stigma. She also could make me tap out in their 3 seconds. Oh yeah, she'll kick your ass. There's no doubt about that. You saw her arms? She's like a CrossFit fiend, I'm told. Like she is not a mad man, but a mad woman on that CrossFit. So that's why she's in wicked shape, because she takes it serious, unlike me. Let's see. If Charles Barkley goes to golf, I might now have to tune in just to hear him. Barkley is TV gold. He is, but I don't really care to hear him talking about golf. That does. You and I are different on that one to extreme. But think about it. Daytime. You do it a couple days. That's it. And the NBA season's a hell of a lot longer. You spend a hell of a lot more nights in a studio. I just kind of get the feeling that he is a little tired of it also. Ad Marks says, Big O, it's my birthday today. Well, happy birthday to you, Ad Marks. Hope you have a terrific one, my friend. Every time I see Liv, I'm looking for Roman numerals. Barkley. Oh, man. So we saw Officer Lowe is a workout fiend. Any of you out there ever heard of Denise Austin? She's also a workout fiend too. And Denise Austin was hanging out with her daughter. And, they were hanging out for a swimsuit deal. Okay. Now, when I show you this, I don't want you to feel bad. Not as bad as I do. But she is 65 years old, hanging out with her 29-year-old daughter, Katie. And they were at a Sports Illustrated swimsuit event. Who's 29 and who's 65? Huh? Who's 29 and who's 65? Yeah. Yeah. Yes, sir. The woman on your right is 65 years old. Yeah, I said it. The woman on the right is 65 years old. Okay? I mean, that woman just ruins it for everybody. She looks as good as her daughter, bro. Her daughter is less than half her age, and she looks as good, or if you want better or whatever, I don't care. Are you really going to complain going out with that 65-year-old? Right? Hell, if you're 25, you would go out with that 65-year-old. All right? 65 years old. Or I'm sorry, 65 years young is what we have to call Denise Austin. Man, holy shit. Wow. That is just beastly right there. I have never wanted to be a pool boy for 2 generations of a family, but I can get the job done. Born Chica Bow Bow. Oh, Boom Chica Bow Bow. Wow. That's a what's the name of that guy? Damn it. He's got the short hair, got a little beard. Chicken Bow Wow, right? But what's the name of that guy? I know who you're talking about. I know the little reference that you had there. I forgot his damn name now. I can see the video. I can picture it. I think it's even in black and white. Damn it. Somebody will come up with it. They know what the hell I'm talking about. Does she still have a TV show? I have no idea if she still has the TV show, but all I can tell you is she was doing the SI swimsuit party with her daughter. And are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? How is that woman 65 years old? How do you look that incredibly fine at 65? I mean, that you are a workout fiend at 65. I should have shown Officer Lowe this because I think there's a phenomenal picture of a woman that sets the bar as high as it could possibly go. 65 years old. That's crazy. But you can celebrate that by tapping that app. That's right, at Liquor Split. Yeah, 65, you tap that app too. How about this? Let's give you, if you haven't tried Liquor Split, and if you live in Coral Way or downtown or Miami Beach or Miami or Liberty City or Brickell or Flagami, Alapata, Fontainebleau, Coco Plum, El Portal, Miami Shores, you name it, you're in that Miami area, Miami's own liquor store. Download it, iOS or Android. Let's give you 15% off your first order at Liquor Split. Download it, iOS or Android. Go to liquorsplit.com. Get your favorite liquors. They got snacks. They got all kinds of things, man. Flat fee of $2.99. No surprise charges or anything like that. And $1 goes to helping homelessness in Miami. Hey, listen. I don't want you drinking and driving, folks. So download the app and keep the party going, keep the meeting going. Don't leave your house. Don't leave your office. Stay there. A flat fee of $2.99 is well worth it. So download the app. You never know. You might need it tonight. You might need it next week. You might need it next month. Download the app, Liquor Split, and tap that app. $2.99 flat fee, and use our code BIG015 and you will get 15% off. BIG015. Use the code, get 15% off. Liquorsplit.com. All right. Sean the oil man. Yes, Sean did oil the ladies before. Yes. Yes, Sean is the oil man. You guys were quick on that. There you go. I only knew about that story because of Sean. He told me, "Hey, bro, have you seen Denise Austin? I oiled her down the other day at the swimsuit, and she is phenomenal. You got to check it out." And then I looked it up, and sure enough, Sean was right. Sean knows he oils the right women. That's one thing you can't argue with Sean is proper oiling. Okay? That's what it is. Proper oiling with Sean. That's what he's into. So, that's the idea. Little thing. By the way, what's going on with the market? Let's check in with the market, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see what's going on, where Bitcoin is at right now. Let's see. It's over 24,000 now. It just went over. Okay, what else do we have here? Wow, it's over 24,000 already. It has moved really, really good. Big O, what's up with Tommy Vigorito? I don't know. I have no idea. Best job ever, Sean. I agree. That's when Sean takes breaks, he's just oiling women. Isn't Ricky Martin facing like 20 years? Yeah, I mean, if he slept with his nephew, yeah. Supposedly. Let's see. Her last workout video was in 2014. Yoga booty lift. It's sounds like a good video. Giada De Laurentiis is 50 plus and still smoking. She's the cooking lady, right? Giada? Yeah, she's cute. No doubt. Denise Austin has worked very hard over the last 50 years to keep that body. Wow. Big O, great hat. Thank you, sir. Thank you. And we had a little in and out when we were in Vegas. Yes, sir. Sean had to have a little in and out. You have to. I mean, it's kind of a law when you go to Vegas. You got to have at least one time. You go to California, you go to Arizona. There's certain states on the west side that have in and out. I think it's one of those things that, it's kind of like the law. You got to have the law. And the law says go to In-N-Out Burgers. Okay? Every time you get a chance. Music news. I got a little music news for you guys to share. Let's talk a little music, right? Why don't we have a little fun? ZZ Top, if you're a ZZ Top fan, and they wasted no time, bro. They lost Dusty Hill and they kept going. And something tells me that they must have had, Billy, Frank, and Dusty must have had that conversation in the past. Like, hey, man, Dusty, hey, you guys got to keep going without me or whatever. But they did not miss a beat. And they are going to have a Las Vegas residency. So if you plan on going to Vegas, just in case, if you happen to be there between December 3rd and December 10th, they will be at the Venetian Theater December 3rd, 4th, 7th, 9th, and 10th there in Las Vegas. So if you want to check out ZZ Top, you'll be able to do that. In history today in music, on this date in 2017, Chester Bennington unfortunately died of suicide at the age of 41. Bennington, by the way, was close with Soundgarden vocalist Chris Cornell, who had died by suicide earlier in 2017. Bennington was said to have been deeply affected by Cornell's death. Formed in 96, Linkin Park had sold more than 70 million albums worldwide and won 2 Grammy Awards. And yeah, that year when we lost Cornell and then Bennington, And it's not a musician thing, it's a life thing. And this demon that's called depression is, it's something that, like, I can't comprehend with it, right? Like a lot of people, because we don't understand it, because we don't live it, right? And it's one of those things, and it's clearly a demon that bothers others. And we all have to have more patience and understanding with this. You know what I'm saying? And when people are suffering, you got to listen to them. You got to try to help them if you can. You got to try to reach them if you can. Look, sometimes you can't reach everybody. Some people don't want to be reached, and that's out of your control at times. But that we do have to have better understanding with that, because it clearly exists. And for those of us that have never, like, normally you and me and most people, we all have our depressive moments, right? But we don't allow it to drive the rest of our lives or the rest of our week or the rest of our month. I could get depressed, but I will find a way to get out of it pretty quickly and move on, because I do not stay in that state of mind. You know what I mean? It's not productive. And to me, I'm not one of those guys that sulks on something and I move on. I turn the page and I try to make a difference, and I learn from whatever mistake I made or whatever setback I've had or whatever. And we all go through it. And you hear about these kind of things, and it happens in everyday life. And all of you out there, you've got family members and friends that are suffering from it, that have, passed away because of it, have grown old with it. It's a brutal monster, man. It's a brutal monster. I can't relate to it because I don't know what it feels like. I don't know what it feels like. I just don't. And I think most of us, if we're honest, we say the same things. You can say you understand, you can say that, but you really don't understand because we don't live it. I don't know what it's like to be thinking that everything's always negative and life is always bad and that nothing's ever going to get good and that I'm never going to be happy. And I don't know what it's like to be thinking like that. I think the other way. I think of what's going to make me happy, what's going to make my wife happy, what's going to make my daughter happy, what's going to make my dogs happy, what's going to make you guys happy. That's kind of the way I'm thinking, and it seems like in that state of mind, it's just one where you just never, you stay in the abyss the entire time, a negative abyss. And obviously it's already been 5 years for Bennington and Chris Cornell. Chris Cornell had just played on the West Coast at Rockville on the West Coast, and then passed away. I don't know. I want to say a month or two later after that appearance in Fort Myers. Those of you that saw it, that was one of his last appearances on stage. Soundgarden in 96 on this date, guitarist Kim Thale was arrested for assault in Charlotte, North Carolina, Lollapalooza. A fan wanted to take his picture, so he allegedly slapped her and broke her camera. In 68 on this date, Cream started a 4-week run on the album charts with Wheels of Fire. In 74 on this date, the Ramones decided to make their drummer, Joey Ramone, their lead vocalist. In 2009 on this date, Jackson Brown settled his lawsuit against a 2008 Republican presidential nominee, John McCain, who used Brown's song Running on Empty without permission in TV and internet ads. And this has happened a lot with artists telling politicians, yo, man, you're not my politician. Don't use my song. In 86, Sid and Nancy, the film based on the life of Sex Pistols' Sid Vicious, premiered in London. Those are some of the things that went on in music history on this date. Queen, by the way, this is pretty cool. Queen have made UK chart history, becoming the first act ever to reach 7 million UK chart sales of an album with their 81 greatest hits collection. The album reached the record-breaking achievement through a combination of physical sales, downloads, and streams after it previously passed the 6 million mark in 2014. Greatest Hits has accumulated 1.1 billion total UK streams to date, with the album's most streamed track, Bohemian Rhapsody, which has 240 million UK streams and counting. And we're here to bring you a joyous news that Queen's Greatest Hits album has sold 7 million copies, which nobody has ever done before, said Brian May in a new video. No album has ever done that in history. Thank you. We appreciate it. The British public and their infinitely great taste have made this the biggest selling album in history, said Roger Taylor. Thank you very much. We're humbled and honored. We salute you. News of the UK sale milestone was revealed in sync with May's 75th birthday on July 19th. There you go. So a little Queen action, and that Greatest Hits album is so good. But of course, it's the Greatest Hits album, so it's supposed to be good, right? Oh, I love it. All right, 855-912-1056. That's 855-912-1056. If you want to get in on the Welt and Rayom text line, you can also reach out to us on Twitter. That's at Big O Show. Follow us there as always. That's a 24-hour talk show. Thank you for getting our YouTube page over the 13,000 mark in subscribers. We now head on to 14,000, but we want to get to 1,000 on Big O Show Cuts. So please search that on our YouTube channel, and Sean is loading it up with other videos there. Big O Show Cuts, please. Subscribe to that. We need to get to 1,000 subscribers. We got 13,000 on this. I'm just asking, I'd like to get it higher than 1,000, but at least so we can get live programming. So get us to 1,000 on that one, por favor. Very important. Okay. So, sadly, I would love to see Sandy pitching on a good team. Maybe the Yankees. I don't want him pitching here and losing games for nothing. Well, I mean, listen, man. Let's see what Bruce Sherman does. Okay, I know he hasn't given us the impression that he's going to spend, but the talent is now starting to develop. Let's see what he does now in this off season coming up for next year, and we'll see if he's able to do it. Okay, I'd like to give him at least a chance to prove to us that he's really dedicated to winning. Let's give him a chance. Dougie Fresh says, Jimi Hendrix in multiple interviews said that Billy Gibbons was his favorite guitarist ever. Yep. Yeah, and Billy will say the same thing about Jimmy because they played with each other back in the day. So yeah, there was the same kind of mutual respect for each other. But I'm still giving Jimmy the nod. Jimmy's the god, bro. He's the god. Yeah, that guy's vision, he was so ahead of everybody. And who personifies cool better than Jimi Hendrix? I don't know if anybody does. Big O, have you ever heard of a 70s band called Bob Seger and the Silver Bullet Band? Well, they weren't only 70s, my brother. Give Bob Seger some love. He had lots of success in the 80s also. And yes, I've seen Bob Seger several times. He is an American treasure. It is un-American not to like Bob Seger. Yes, I love Bob Seger. Turn the Page is my favorite song of his. Metallica did a nice job with it. So yes, of course I know Bob Seger, my brother. If you don't know Bob Seger, then I can't call you a rock and roll aficionado. You know what I mean? Somebody tells me, oh, yeah, no, I'm a big rock guy. I love rock. And okay, so let's talk Seger. Who? Okay, end the conversation. We're done. I'm out of here. I'm walking away. So there you go. Lisa says, Sean and O sent a link to Kershaw's All-Star press conference. Great story. Oh, you're talking about with the kid? Yes, I saw that. I saw that, and the kid's crying, and he's yeah, it's emotional. Yeah, yeah. Kershaw's a class act because he was talking about I believe it was his grandfather was that Kershaw was his favorite pitcher, and he passed away and all that, and he wanted to see him, and yeah, it was really really emotional. Yeah, it kind of bent me up a little bit this morning when I saw it. Alex says losing Chester hurt. They are my favorite band. It sucked to hear that he had hung himself. Yeah. Yeah, so sad, man. Big O show. What's the one band or artist that you want to see live that you haven't? That's still alive that I haven't seen that I want to see. It has to be realistic, okay? That they're actually alive and touring and all, or maybe not touring yet, but can still do it. You know what? I'll go with the Kinks. I have never seen the Davies Boys. They're really old now because they're in their 70s, probably mid 70s now. I don't know. There was some talk that Ray and Dave would tour again. I never saw the Kinks. That would be one that I would probably love to see. You know, they have to still be alive and be able to do it. I don't know if there's anybody else that's like realistic. Like if we could start getting into fantasy, then I would tell you Jimi Hendrix. But realistically, still alive and around and could do it, and somebody that I've never seen, because I think I've seen pretty much everybody that's alive left and touring. I think I've seen them all live almost. And I would say the Kinks might be one. I'm trying to think of somebody that I've never seen that is still around and can still tour. No, yeah, I'm going to go with the Davies Boys and the Kinks. Yeah. Yeah, something like that. That would probably be it. I went to see Lollapalooza in 96, Metallica, Soundgarden, Rage Against the Machine, Wu-Tang Clan, Violent Femmes, Devo, the Ramones. I guess you had a good time. It's a hell of a lineup, dude. Lollapalooza in the late 90s, early 2000s was the best music festival. Yeah, they were great. Does Mrs. O like going to concerts with Mr. O? Is she into the same music as you? Yes and no. She won't go to all, like, I can't get her to get in Anthrax, you understand? Or maybe even Metallica. But she enjoys Judas Priest. And obviously, she'll go with me to a Lionel Richie concert and Young the Giant and, you know, Barry Manilow and whatever, you know, stuff like that. So yes, she's not, she loves the Interrupters. That's like that might be one of her new favorite bands, because obviously it's my favorite ska band on the planet. But she loves the Interrupters. That's one that like gets her dancing, and she doesn't really move a lot for concerts. You know, she did enjoy the hell out of Green Day. She had never seen Green Day, doesn't know a ton of their songs, and she loved every moment of it. So it depends, you know what I mean? But there's a lot of concerts that she'll go to with me. She would go. She doesn't go to a lot of them, but she would go to some. But a lot of times they're school nights, so she doesn't like going to concerts because we get back late and she has to wake up at 5 a.m, dude. So she doesn't want to, you know, and which I don't blame her. I get it. But yeah, kind of. Mrs. O enjoys some of them. Of course, Big O knows who Bob Seger is. What a question, says Tony Zagalis. That is kind of a silly question. If you know me, you know, I'm pretty, you know, I'm not here to brag and tell you, oh my God, I'm Mr. Music aficionado and I know more music than anybody, but I'm a pretty hardcore rocker. You got to figure that I know Bob Seger in and out. You know, love Bob Seger, bro. God, he's awesome. Jimi Hendrix also said that Terry Kath from Chicago was better than him, and both had respect for each other. Jimmy was such a humble dude. Exactly. Jimmy is the man, bro. The man. Him and EVH, You know, but I just give him a hair because he was before anybody else. And he was just doing shit that nobody had ever done before, and he changed the entire game. You know, guy's a beast. Village Green Preservation Society is one great album. You need to see KRS-One in concert. He's awesome. You know, I was set to go see KRS-One at Respectable Street in West Palm Beach. I want to say it was like, I forgot what it was, 2 years ago or whatever, like right before the pandemic or something, and it got canceled, dude. No, it didn't get canceled. Something happened to me and I couldn't go to the KRS-One concert. And I wanted to go badly because he is one of the great rappers of all time. There's no doubt. KRS-One is a stud, Ayla's. Thank you. I love Steve Miller and the Eagles. I'm with you. I've seen both. Oh, what's your 4-person band dream lineup? You mean I put 4 people together? Okay. So I'm going to go Freddie Mercury at vocals. I'm going to go Jimi Hendrix at guitar. I'm going to go Stuart Copeland at drums because I want all kinds of versatility at that position, not it be just rock, since I have Freddie. And then my bass player, I'm not telling you Stuart Copeland's the best drummer ever. I'm trying to think of the music that they can make together, and I'm trying to think of the musicians that they are. And so then I am going to go with Les Claypool as my bassist. Because Les can play all kinds of bass, all kinds of music. So I would love to see the versatility that I would get with all 4 of those guys. There you go. How about that? Not that I'm ever going to come up with a 4-person that all of you are going to agree on or, whatever. So, but that would be my 4 that I put together. Just quickly like that. I was lucky to be able to see STP in Lincoln Park at FLA Live Arena with Stained. Very good. Oh, is there any new rapper you actually like or listen to? I mean, is Lupe Fiasco new? Is that what you call new? Because that's what I call new. Kendrick Lamar, I like. It's not a lot of new ones that I like. I hate all that auto-tune shit. Can't stand that auto-tune shit. Trying to think of some of the new guys that are out there, but not a lot. Pat of Nashville goes, Les Claypool is the correct answer. Oh. Big O, do you like pachanga Cuban music? What is pachanga Cuban music? I don't know what pachanga Cuban music is. Do I like Celia Cruz? Yes. That kind of stuff. I'm not really, I don't get into Spanish pop music. That really has no attraction to me. It has to be more about real, like, music. Cuban jazz and, stuff like that. Paquito de Rivera, Jesus Alemani. It has to be stuff like that. That's the kind of stuff that I get into. Mario Bauza, things like that. That's the kind of stuff that I love. Now, back when I was a kid, my dad used to always play Conjunto Universal, stuff like that. Mira la bolita como sube y como baja. Ay, como sube. Ay, como baja. Willie Chirino's all right. Yeah, he's all right. Yeah, that's kind of Willie Chirino, Conjunto Universal. That's kind of the same. Yeah, that kind of stuff. Yeah, I like that kind of stuff. Yeah, I don't mind because that's the good stuff to dance to. And as you all know, well, some of you may know, some of you may not know. But if you want to reach that little lady's heart sometimes, and if you want to kind of have a precursor before you get home without having sex, without having any, specific foreplay, dancing is that foreplay. Yeah. Dancing is the foreplay before the foreplay. And if you're a Latin dancer, oh baby. Yeah. If you can dance with a Latin woman, I'm just telling you, you're picking up big time points before you get home. You're getting her in the mood. If you can groove on the floor. Just saying. Okay? That's all I got to tell you. That's my advice for you guys out there. Learn to do a little dancing. The women love it. Tell you. It's a great way to get the what's that called? The is it endorphins or something, or what's that called? The stuff that spews out of your body when you start kind of getting a little excited or horny or whatever. I forgot the hell it's called. But yeah. Oh, would you consider a bilingual broadcast again? I got to tell you something. On Onside Radio, that was one of the plans, is to kind of include a little Spanglish in there. Yeah. 790 years ago was on the right track with Larry and what's it called? The Amigo. With Milian and the Amigo. They were onto something, and they, instead of following through, you know what I mean? And this is the one town in South Florida that you could probably get away with a Spanglish type of station. And I don't know why people haven't done it yet. Hey, listen, I've said for years, when I did Radio Acción years ago and I did La Ensalada Deportiva, and I did it for 2 years, and we had #1 ratings. We were kicking ass left and right. Spanish sports talk is completely an untouched zone that I don't know why no one has created a legitimate Spanish sports talk station. Not a bullshit one where you're just talking Mexican soccer and boxing. That's crap. Okay? That flies west of the Mississippi. If you're in South Florida, you Americanize it, and you talk football and you talk basketball, and then you also talk baseball and boxing and everything else that goes with it. Because I did it for 2 years, but I did it Americanized style. I wasn't going to do the typical give into, oh, no, soccer and boxing. No. South Florida, we're Americanized. Hispanics here think like Americans. They think football. They think basketball. They love the Dolphins. They love the Heat. They love the NFL. They love the NBA. And it baffles me that somebody with money in South Florida never, ever went and created a sports station like that. You would kick ass down here. Advertising, you've got 2 types of advertising from 2 languages in a bilingual town. It's the craziest thing in the world that nobody. When I did La Ensalada Deportiva with Adi Beden back in Radio Acción back in 1991, yeah, I'm old. When we were done with that, because he had a divorce and he had to sell the station, unfortunately. Ever since then, I never understood why anybody never did it. You could easily create a monster in South Florida, and nobody ever has. It's baffling. I got to tell you. Can you dance, Big O? Of course I can dance, dude. Yes. Yes, I can dance. All right. Just because you see me because I'm a big guy, you know, I can dance. I can dance. I can snow ski, water ski, you name it, skateboard, whatever, bro. I did it all. I'm pretty athletic for I wasn't a big guy then. I was always a skinny guy. But yeah, of course I can dance. Because I knew dancing was a way to always meet girls. If you can dance, they love it, man. They love it. It's good to get the mojo rising. Mike No Go Zone says, you're spitting facts. I took some basic dancing lessons before going to Colombia, before I met my girlfriend, and it paid off big time. Told you. Oh, my God. Colombian women, a Latin woman. You run into a Cuban or Puerto Rican or a Colombian and you can dance, brother. That's half the battle right there. Half the battle. There's a Spanish-speaking Dolphins YouTube podcast. I think it's called Hellfins. Really? That's cool. Big O, if the SEC needed to add another team into the league besides Notre Dame, you think maybe the Canes would be a good fit? It would be interesting, my opinion, Gators versus Canes again. Yes. I think Clemson and Miami are the teams you need to add to the SEC for sure. And Florida State, if you can. I don't know why I keep thinking Florida State's going to end up in the Big Ten and Miami's going to end up in the SEC. Don't know why, but I keep thinking that. And it makes no sense, right? Like Florida State should be in the SEC with Miami and Clemson. Especially Clemson, more than Miami and Florida State, should be in the SEC. But I would, the problem is those TV contracts. They're tied to the ACC for, I forgot what it was, 36, 32, something like that. So it's like another 10 years or something. The buyout would be just catastrophic to get out of it. And that's the problem for some of these teams in the ACC to move, is paying that buyout is nuts. Yeah. So we'll see. UCF, UM, and FSU. Yeah, I don't think any of that is going to happen because of the buyouts. That's the problem there. It's hundreds of millions of dollars that you're going to need to buy out because there's so much money left on the table, so many years. And remember, you're Miami or Clemson or Florida State, and you pull out of the ACC, that is catastrophic for that league, because you're talking about the elite teams of that league. That's the thing. So that's where the issue becomes a major, major, major problem. By the way, Nature B, 27 vitamins and amino acids. Yes, sir. And right now, folks, you can buy 2 months and get the 3rd month for free. Use our code Big O, and you will also get free shipping. So we're going to give you 1 month for free and free shipping. You buy 2 months, you get the 3rd month for free and free shipping. You're going to get, when we talk about Nature B, sustained energy all day long, supports great nutrition. What I also like about it is, for you ladies, stronger nails, smoother skin, fuller hair, which I definitely have plenty of that. And all you need is those 2 golden capsules every single day. Think about that. So for 2 golden capsules, it boosts your immune system, which is my favorite thing on earth. This is why I rarely ever have a cold, because I pop those 2 golden capsules every single day. And thank the Lord, in today's virus-filled world, okay, I have my shots. I have my booster shots, but I still take my boost of Nature B every single day because it just promotes good health. So you can do it too. Go to natureb.com, order 2 months, get the 3rd month for free, and get free shipping. Use our code Big O at natureb.com. There you go. Got my shirt on. Jeff sent me like 7 of these shirts. I've got a ton of Nature Bee shirts, but I got to get one of the classic Nature Bee hats from him. That's what I need. Need to get the classic one. He sent me the ironed on one. I got to get the embroidered one that looks really, really cool. That's the one I need. So when I do wear a hat, I can actually sport the right one. That's what it's all about. Did you guys see what is going to go on Netflix now? And this is kind of a weird type of thing, because it's just, I don't know, it just doesn't make any sense. And for one person, what the hell happened here? Italy's government is on the cusp of collapse as parties refuse to back PM Mario Draghi in a confidence vote. I'm telling you, man, Bitcoin more than ever is every day. It just looks more and more like it makes sense to go in the Bitcoin direction. Anyway, so Netflix is releasing a documentary, and this is a documentary that it's a personal hell for somebody. Manti Te'o. So here's a guy that was a star linebacker at Notre Dame, and he had a fake girlfriend that he didn't know was fake. And the quote back in those days was, "She's the most beautiful girl I've ever met, not because of her physical beauty, but because of her character and who she is. She's just that person I turn to," he told ESPN at that time. So it's going to have an interview, an in-depth interview with Manti Te'o and the person behind the online identity, Ronaya Naya Tuiasosopo, the girlfriend who didn't exist, is about Manti's crazy relationship that never existed. And so they've got the trailer there, and the story turned Manti Te'o into a national mockery, overshadowing his professional career. And so all of this stuff, The Girlfriend Who Didn't Exist, is a 2-part documentary focusing on Te'o and the events that brought him into a catfishing hoax to light, will premiere August 16th on Netflix. And I hate to use this as an analogy to go to extremes, but when we talk about abuse, and whether it's a child or a woman that goes through some kind of abuse, and then they've got to face their abuser, and a lot of them never want to face their abuser. They never want to turn them in, because then they've got to then face them in court and all that, and they've got to relive everything. Right? That's the worst part about it all. And then they're reliving everything, and it becomes public. Okay? So that's a terror. So for Manti Te'o, it's a lot of the same thing, not at the same level, of course, but you still are going to look pretty stupid on a national level. And you looked really stupid then and naive. So this is now going to resurface again, which, it's also going to bring back stuff and everything else, so it's just hilarious how this story that we all made fun of, because you got to be pretty stupid to fall for something like this. It's, he did not use any common sense, especially being a famous person, which once you become famous in this world, you must have every force field up, because unfortunately there are people like that are ready to take advantage of you. So now we're going to see, I guess, the whole inside story behind all of this, and meet the person behind the catfishing and everything else. I wonder how that, years later, how do you feel about yourself that you put that human being through a ton of embarrassments? I wonder how that feels for him later on. How does that person feel after they, lied to somebody and lied to them to the point that they made them a national farce. I wonder if there's remorse. That might be the one part that I'm interested in that documentary, is the person that did it to Manti Te'o. Do they regret it? Is it something that still bothers them now? You know what I mean? Because I know that if I made that mistake, it would still bother me to this day. I'm hell, kind of person I am, I probably would be sending Manti Te'o an apology every month just to try to make me feel better, even if he's forgiven me 80 times over. I don't know if I could forgive myself for something like that. You know, it's hard. It's hard. When you hurt people, it should hurt you. You know what I mean? It should hurt you. If it doesn't, there's something wrong with you. Because if you know you did something wrong and you put somebody in a bad position, it should hurt you. So be interested to see what that one's all about. You got to push for Nature Bee to deliver in Puerto Rico. Jafar, I'm sorry, it's not them, it's Puerto Rico. It's apparently there's some issues there. I talked to them about that. I did talk to them about that. You know what they really tripped out on in Nature Bee? We have listeners in New Zealand, where Nature Bee comes from, okay? And we have listeners in New Zealand that ordered Nature Bee. Which, by the way, thank you very much. I appreciate all of you out there. All the Kiwis out there listening to us in New Zealand. Thank you, thank you, thank you. But I thought that was really cool because they tripped out like, wait a minute, you're reaching people in our country? You know? And I'm like, well, that's been the impressive part about all of this, is that Sean and I are floored every day at the amount of people that we're reaching and the places all over the globe that we're reaching. You know, our numbers went down in Russia, Poland, and Ukraine. I wonder why. You know, think about that. Yeah, sure, we got tons of downloads in South Florida, but we got downloads all over the world. Sean goes to me, man, our numbers in Russia and in Ukraine and Poland have gone down. I wonder why. You know, I think they've got more important things on their mind than our stupid show. You know, that's the kind of reach that this program has. It's been absolutely amazing. So thank you all, every one of you out there. He has a smoke show now. I know he's doing good. I don't know what that means, Miles Deep. Who was I talking about now that has a smoke show now? Oh, Manti Te'o? Is that what you're saying? I don't know. I don't know who his girlfriend is now. Have no idea. You know what? Now you gave me homework for after the show. Thanks for trying, Big O. I've been to almost every GNC and vitamin shop in San Juan. Yeah, no, you have to order online. It's like Edge energy drink. You're not going to get Edge at Publix. You got to order online at myedgedrink.com. Oh, and by the way, use my code Big O so you can get 10% off. It's the same thing with Nature Bee. You're not going to get it in a store. You have to go to naturebee.com. It's the way to get it. So, yeah. Just one of those deals. And use our code Big O. So you buy 2 months, get the third month for free and free shipping. All this month. We've got 10 days left. After that, the deal is done. It's only this month of July. Your show is not stupid. Your show is the best. Thank you, sir. Very kind, Josh. Appreciate you, my man. And say hi to Alexa for us. All right, we are out of here. We thank Ian Rappaport, Matt Verderam for joining us here on the show. We thank all of you for tuning in as always. And Sean Stanley, the man, the myth, the legend, mastering this program every single day and getting it done. We appreciate that. We will see you tomorrow. Thursday, we'll be live at Hialeah Park, second floor poker room. Come on out and join us, man. I would love to create a crowd there. We got all those tables and chairs out there. You guys can hang out, watch. ask us questions during breaks. We can take your questions right from there. You know, if you guys make a crowd out there at Hialeah Park every Thursday, I will start bringing giveaways and everything out there for you guys. But you got to do your part. You got to come on out. I know you guys are coming out during the week and the evenings and all that because people tell me. But we'd love to get some of you folks out there that aren't working. Because of course, if you're working, you can't show up. But come on out to Hialeah Park, man. Let's make it a party every Thursday at Hialeah Park. You never know. I could be if you do that, then start giving away tickets. I can start giving away some gift cards, all kinds of stuff. But I got to have a crowd out there. We got to get a crowd out there to Hialeah Park. I think that would be a really cool thing. Plus, you got the smoking hot women serving you drinks. You've got great food. You've got all the gaming action. So come on out to Hialeah Park and join us every Thursday night out there. Love it. Big O, is Viagra still expensive? No, BlueChew.com. Use the code Big O. $5 is all you pay shipping for the first month. Free first month, $5 shipping. And there it is. Blue Chew is like Viagra and Cialis, the same thing. So there you go, Willie. We have many ways of saving you guys money and bringing entertainment. Blue Chew will save you money and bring you entertainment. So there you go, Willie. Get a little Blue Chew for you in Colombia. Great job, Big O. And that baby rubbing oil, Sean Stanley. Yes, sir. I tell you, Sean Stanley rubbing the Austin ladies. All right, we're out of here. We'll see you tomorrow. We'll see you from Hialeah Park. Love you all. Same time, same place, same bat channel. Be good.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.